Everybody, welcome to Call of Duty Challengers Elite here. We're back for season number 4 in Europe. It's day number 2. My name is Infinity. I'll be joined by Enigma for today's action. Andy, it's been a long time since you and I have been on the casting desk together. It's a wonderful sight to see you as always.
Good to see you as well, my friend. Good to see you. I know that you've been working away with Proper, been watching the magic happen. It's been fantastic to see, but it is always good to work alongside you, my friend. I tell you what, today we've been blessed with two absolute bangers. I get on here and I hype it up a little bit, but today, oh baby, I don't know who handed us these, but I'm looking forward to them.
It always seems to happen, doesn't it? We get gifted from the heavens these beautiful matches, and we should probably explain what matches we're talking about. By the way, we're kicking things off today with the Spanish, the Clasico, the Amy Sports against Rocker Academy. I cannot wait to see this one goes down. And then after that, by the way, as well, you guys will be blessed to see the new look Team War and Toronto Ultra Academy rosters go head to head. It is a banger of a day early on here in the round robin stage of European Challengers League Season 4. Before we get into all of that, though, I got to ask, Andy, it's a super hot day at the moment. How you doing? How you dealing with all of it? I'm not dealing with the heat very well personally, but it's hot to say the least.
Hey, I'm a big Heat fan. I love it. I'm a big fan. The thing that isn't is my hair, curly hair, and heat moisture does
Yeah,
not mix at all. Goes a bit crazy, but otherwise, I'm a big fan. I love it. I think we moan too much about it in this country. To be honest, we don't. We
no,
don't.
not enough.
We don't have the air conditioning, perhaps, but we don't get it too often either. So we should enjoy it while it's here.
Yeah, we need air conditioning. I think that might be the big game changer that we need here in this country. Nonetheless, though, heat aside, of course, as we said, we've got a great day of Call of Duty ahead of us. We should probably kind of talk about the state of play moving into the day. For the most part, everybody has played 2 games, with the exception of one team, which is Amy Sports, leading into our first match. Yesterday, apparently, Eric Boom decided to yeet his router across the country, and alas, they couldn't play their games. They did just get one game in leading into this one. That was a 3-1 victory versus Toronto Ultra Academy EU, by the way, which is actually a very interesting result, I think, to talk about moving into this match, considering that, Andy, is actually a rematch of our Season 3 finals.
Yeah, 100%. Obviously, those finals where they were essentially double beaten in best of 5. So, yeah, it was disappointing for them. They've looked really good since this change has come through with Journey coming into the side. Sucre obviously going off to the opponents they will be playing later on today. But yeah, a 3-1 victory over Toronto EU. That's a way to make a statement after yesterday where whatever happened with Eric Boom's router happened. You can get yourself sometimes into a situation where you've got a lot coming up ahead of you. You can be a bit overwhelmed, and Toronto, you're a hell of a side anyway. So, yeah, no, very good stuff out of them. It's a shame we didn't get to cover those matches over, but I'm expecting it was a good war, and they're going to come into this one pretty hot and confident. I'd feel.
Indeed, they are. Now, that actually kind of leads us straight into this matchup for AIM versus Rocker Academy. I think we should probably start the conversation, though, before we touch upon that AIM esports lineup with the Rocker Academy side. Yesterday, we got an extensive look at what they were up to. They got a 3-1 victory versus Invincibles, but more importantly, it was the matchup versus Team War that I think has defined their early performance here in Season 4. Andy, was a reverse sweep. It didn't go well for them. They looked so good, and just towards the end, they just couldn't hang towards those last their back 3 maps.
Yeah, I mean, starting off strong and then fading away kind of sums up the core of this side over this year, over last year. It seems to all go well. The puzzle seems to fit. And then just as we drag the season on out, as we start to get towards the later stages, something doesn't click. And something didn't click with this side. And then they obviously made that change, taking Journey out, putting Sucre in. Apparently something somewhere is still lacking. You've still got that duo of Real and Lucky leading the way. But if you're Sucre, if you're Metals, it's not necessarily been great for you, especially if you're Sucre, who's got a lot of boots to fill stepping in for Journey. He needs to have
Yeah.
himself one hell of a season in this one.
Yeah, and you talk about, all right, our big point here, I think, for this Rocker Academy roster. Obviously, if we were in the CDL right now, we'd be bringing you guys keys to victory, so we'll do that anyway.
Yes.
I think if Lucky and Real play well here, and I think this has just been a key to victory for the Rocker Academy squad, not just in this season, but in seasons past as well. Those two, Andy, are absolutely our players to watch for this series.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, Real has been very, very impressive over this first season. I feel you very much so stepped in to a top tier lineup and put up some serious figures. I think the problem for me with this roster, it does get. I hate to pin it in on one player, I do, but it's got to be the Sucre show from here on out. It has got to be a performance from him that really sets the tone throughout the rest of this year. Last season, he was considerably under the performance of his teammates. And actually, it looks like our breaking down is done, Brody. We are off with our map 1. It is Berlin Hardpoint, Amy Sports Rocker Academy. Let's get down to it.
And no need to break down any more rubbish, Andy, I think is the best way we can approach this one. Straight towards map number 1 in this best of 5 thriller. We are ready to go as Amy Sports and Rocker Academy look to face off. And right from the off here, it looks like Rocker Academy were the first team to touch on towards the point. Currently, though, sucking up some time are going to be the Aim squad. And I think I want to speak generally speaking for a moment here as these battles do go down, right? We do expect this match to go the distance, just kind of what has happened in the past between these two teams, Andy.
Yeah, so I mean, if we're just looking recent history, we're looking at these rosters that are together currently throughout this game. They both met twice before, with AIM winning both of those in Game 5 fashion, and AIM winning every search and destroy that these two teams have played against each other again in that recent history. And that's kind of interesting because I don't think we necessarily have AIM down as a very strong S&D side, but something about their game just plays off so well against Rocker.
Yeah, that is absolutely something we should be looking out for moving forward in the series. But as for this hardpoint specifically, Berlin hardpoint, of course, when we were talking about those two best of 5s, they actually traded them off in those series. It was one hardpoint apiece both times around. So don't be surprised if that kind of thing is repeated here. But it's been a long time since Season 3. But for this hardpoint specifically right now here, Andy, Rocker Academy starting very strong. This is 20 seconds that, theoretically speaking, should go their way, especially as kind of you're looking at the positioning of Amy Sports. You get the, I guess, the position here that Amy Sports are looking for this rotation.
Yeah, and you can feel here that they have backed off. They are looking to play this P3, which can be very much so a money hill. So you're down and out for now. You're currently sitting about 50 points back, but opportunity here to lock this down. They have the mid-map pressure. They have the players in lobby. Docks should be locked down. A lot looking good here for AIM.
Now it's a question of can they hold it, because kind of at this point in the game you don't really want to get broken. Rocker Academy have already built up quite a lead off the back of the first couple of hard points, and now they have to hold. Can they get it done? Still a wealth of time to get off this hard point, and now perhaps Sukri could be the player to break on through. Has a couple more players in tow as well. Rocker Academy should, as long as Real plays his life well here, should be able to break the spawns. Unfortunately for them, though, that hasn't exactly happened. Amy Sports are still hanging around. They haven't been able to clear out this Rocker Academy site. And trades galore as Yako does come through for that last gunfight. Doesn't win it against Sukri. So this has been a really rocky hard point, I think, for both of these teams. But I would say, you know, the job's good. And for Amy Sports, they do get a ton of time with that hard point.
They do, and they've actually got plenty of pressure here around P4. If they can win a couple of gunfights, that not being one of them, they have an opportunity here to disrupt this rotation that's come in from Rocker. You feel, though, that this one's a big one, and Journey wins it. That's huge, because that is going to allow, as long as he plays his life just a little bit, his teammates to get in and potentially take this back.
Well, Rocker Academy right now, Andy, they've got themselves a solid lead here in this game, and that was mostly down to Metals and Lucky coming in and kind of saving the day.
Yeah, absolutely. You've got now this situation. Rocker Academy going to be 50 points up. AIM Esports going to stick around for a little bit of scrap time. You can do that. You can hem in a little bit of a spawn trap here. Look at Super here. He's aware of it. He's going to try and catch Lucky, trying to escape himself down the dockside. Wins the first fight against Metals. Is aware of where Lucky is, and that third kill there is just going to continue to hem Rocker into the back warehouses. A great open for AIM, because this P5, typically quite scrappy, one that's a bit mixy, gets a little bit contesty. But instead, if you will do claw some time here, it's essentially stolen points, and it's looking good off the start, but that's a couple of dead. And Rocker Academy with an opportunity to break.
And again, it's not really time Amy Sports want to give away, but they are on the better side of the map at the very least for that inevitable rotation over towards P1. That is something that will be at the back of their minds, but it's at the forefront of Metals, who's in from behind, looking to cause some serious damage. He's able to pick up Eric Boom, looking for the second, but gets caught off guard by Yako. So an important gunfight there for that inevitable rotation over towards the new hill. But while all those gunfights are going down, it is ultimately here, Andy, Rocker Academy, who are able to soak up a ton of scrap time away from this AIM roster. And Lucky, even he here is going to ruin the day for AIM. They thought, hey, maybe we can take a few seconds of scrap time away from the Rocker side. Just doesn't happen. And even worse now, AIM, they are losing the rotation team.
They are, and I don't even think that AIM were actually looking to take any of P5 scrap time there. I think they're essentially trying to set up a cordon, get a couple of kills on Rocker Academy, stop them transitioning across the map, and allow themselves a wide setup for P1. It's perhaps over-ambitious, a little bit too over-invested, and essentially you end up with a situation where you're then scrambling just to get your P1 set up in. They will finally get themselves in. They finally have a foot in the hill, and what can be a sleeper money hill for this map. You really can claw up some points here. As you can see that gap close. We're down to our final 25 seconds. Team's got to start considering that male rotation.
Disadvantage is something that Rocker Academy will be considering here as they move over towards that rotation. But just to remind a few folks at home, this is technically speaking not the only match that is ongoing right now. Team War and Dizzy's Rascals will be going head-to-head. And we should say, I think from a contextual standpoint, that is an important match for Dizzy's Rascals. It's a match they could theoretically win if they manage to catch Team War off guard. So we'll be keeping an eye on that one moving forward. And we might even pop in from time to time. But back to this one, it's even Stevens as we look over towards the next set of rotations. Journey, Yakko, they're winning their ones. Journey with another one as well. And AIM Esports with a crucial break at this point in the game.
Crucial indeed. I feel like a lot of the game so far has been AIM making good out of bad situations, but they finally got themselves a really good setup here. At least you'd think. Journey, unfortunately, will fall, but there's at least once that's traded on the board. Eric Boom just trying to sniff around. A couple of players here just buzzing around. Now, I'm a big fan of this. This map has got a lot of doors, a lot of entryways. It's got your verticality. If you continue to have players who are keen to move around, it can really offset a break because it's so difficult to find where those defenders are. Look towards 3, and Journey has slipped through the net, and look at this for a play.
Journey could well be the playmaker here. What a turnaround this has been from AIM Esports. They were far behind this one. And here comes Journey to save the day. He picks up the first versus Sukri. And it is a problem that Real really has to deal with here. He's well aware of that fact. Also has to be kind of cautious of the fact that somebody might be coming from the front too. But Journey has been taken out of that position. A crucial one-on-one for Real to win. But look at Super at the moment. This is the guy we'll be talking about time and time again. Here is why. A 9 spree. And that is streaks that will be crucial moving forward towards the train yard hardpoints and into the future of this game. He's going to use it now.
Actually, yeah, I was going to say he doesn't even want to hold it. I'm with you. I thought he was going to hold that for P4. I'm with you. I'm with you, Brody. I feel like it's an early investment. It's a bit of a panicked investment, but if his teammates manage to make something of it happen, it's worth it. Journey will barrel on in, get the first. Is aware of where Metals is, unfortunately falls. This turns into a bit of a pinstripe feed situation, and you can argue for AIM that they've managed to break in and perhaps avert some time here, but you've got to then consider if it was still a glide bomb in possession for P4 and that they could have clawed away more time, has the math been worth it? You've really got to start to win some gunfights here because Rocker already rotated in, looking to get themselves set up.
Important hold early on here, and I think crucially as well, you know, now that that glide bomb is out of the way, it's not something they really have to be concerned about, right? Coming into the hill where that would have been a lot more useful. So that's the positive for Rocker Academy. But look at the positioning right now from Medals as he's able to pick up one. The information will be given away towards the rest of the team now that AIM, hey look, they're on the flanking from behind, and here comes the deal with it as well as just Journey now left alive. AIM will spawn up over towards the train platform, and for Rocker Academy here, even though they don't technically speaking have anybody soaking up time, finally they'll get somebody in towards the hard point. I think the point here is just making sure that AIM themselves do not get any time off the till, and so far very successful in that endeavor.
Yeah, it is. But with Rocker, you've got to start to think ahead a little bit. Call yourself back to the last set of rotations. Rocker ended up being trapped in the back warehouses. You've just had Real spawn on the docks. I like that play. He's going to start to head out down the dockside, avoid getting trapped in and hemmed in, which was the problem last time around where AIM scooped so many points out of the P5. I love this play out of him. Very heads up. Good stuff from the young man. It should avoid the situation they had before, and now opens up the map. We'll turn that P5 into the mad scramble that it should be. All to play for. Some huge points here as we trickle teams towards those 200-point marks.
Such a close game at the moment for Rocker Academy. Looking to hold on towards this time. Sukri, unfortunately, does actually miss Yakko there as he slides on through to the hard point. So now the trade's coming down here, but Metals still wants to have a say in this conversation, a voice if you will. But Yakko, now in, does get traded away. And with that kill, Rocker Academy should enforce this. The AIM now going to be spawning up over towards the dock side of the map. It's not the right side of the map for the future rotation. And now you're faced with this stark choice. Do you want to put so much emphasis to the rotation, or do you go for scrap time? As a matter of fact, the gunfight's being won. They're actually able to do both. They've got players in towards the next hard point. They're able to take the time away on P5 from Rocker.
Oh, and I love Journey there, just playing his life, allows Yakko to come in for support play. Yakko does get a double. This continues to open up P1. I was hoping for a rotation from someone out of aim, but apparently just going to win the gunfight at the front. Metals gets the first, and it is supported from his teammates. We go into a P1 with Rocker kind of set up, but teammates need to arrive fast, and there's a big rush from Real through the middle.
Real trying to make the push in from the middle of the map. Doesn't exactly work out there. Journey does get shut down, but look at this coming through from AIM Esports on towards the other side of the hard point. They managed to get Super and Yakko in towards the kill, but Lucky, can he save the day? No is the answer. Does get shut out momentarily. An overextension coming through here from Yakko for the 35 seconds of time. AIM could finish it here. Rocker are putting a ton of emphasis on towards P2. They're sending Metals on the longest flank in the No universe. He has to be effective, but unfortunately for him, Real and Sukri gonna fall. If you're Rocker Academy, you need to go, and you need to go right about now. Metals, what can he do? He gets shut down. The long flank doesn't work out. The player's shut down from Rocker Academy, and AIM will win it. But Rocker Academy there, Andy, towards the end, I think they were just trying to set up for the perfect push, and they might have spent a little bit too long doing it.
Rocker going to be very, very disappointed watching that one back from the P5 to P1 rotation that AIM managed to pull off there. It's essentially just one gunfight. So there's nothing spectacular about it. I actually thought AIM got it slightly wrong. Could have sent a player down the dark side, round wide, and get themselves in that way. Instead, they just take gunfights that they should have no right to win. Great stuff from them. See it off, see it out. We're on with our Katana v Team Invincibles game. Katana up 2-0, apparently? That might be wrong. That might be wrong because we're in a hard point. Took me a second, but we are in a hard point. So that can't be correct at all, Brody.
Yeah, I mean, look, GA's are wild these days, so maybe they've kind of like decided to just play hardpoint from map number 3. You never know, do you, really, with these players?
I'm for it. I'm for it.
Yeah, please don't say that. You'll encourage some people. We don't want that. But regardless, yeah, this is map number 1 right now. Katana Ricochet. This would be a big victory for them if they can get it done. Pull it away from Team Invincibles, especially after the start that they had yesterday in Elite. I want the victory here. Now, can they get it done? They, technically speaking, did have players on the rotation towards P2. Rosh J will need to play his life here. Players spawning up around him. Is he going to read the fact that Nala is spawning River? You have to imagine with the spawn of the Katana Ricochet players, that should have happened.
You think so, but... Well, as the hill lies open, keep an eye on the game clock, by the way. With both teams being over 200, we might not even touch it, but with 1 minute and 3 seconds on, you know how this map gets. This map can be a nightmare in terms of the amount of contested going on. We've also got our picture-in-picture there to see your Team War Dizzy Rascals game. Dizzy Rascals leading that one, a bow cage hardpoint as well. The one thing about this map, it is very, very much so unpredictable. And you've got a Katana break getting themselves in, and they will not be able to win it there, so there will be that rotation for Grandmas.
Indeed. Team Invincibles well aware of that fact. I think they're just making sure they don't overextend it towards the hard point. I mean, it still is technically a lot of time you can get, especially as Grad, Nile, and Rafi are going to combine for 3. Just Ross J, who is actually able to make sure that Nile does not get any time at the back of that hard point. But over towards the Grandma's Hill we go. A couple of holds is all that Invincibles will require, but they cannot be scrappy about it. Katana Ricochet starting to put the kills together. Futsi and Joker combine for 3. Just 5 seconds is all they need. Can anybody from Invincibles touch Rafi? Barreling through the middle of the map. We'll take them out the hill momentarily. Can Grad get through? No is the answer. And Katana start very strong with this one. They get the victory from Invincibles.
I mean, you feel like Katana needed that after yesterday, right? They were dropped around a little bit in the games yesterday. Nothing on the statistical side of things looked good at all. Joker dropping a 40 bomb here in your bow cage, feeling very solid. 4.5k damage for that young man. I saw a 5k for just a split second there as well. I'm wondering who's poked that up. We're going to rotate into our 3rd game. God, I love these when we get these games bouncing back to back to back. Team War against your Dizzy's Rascals, and we are back level. Not long ago, Dizzy's had that 50-60 point lead, and it's all evaporated. Team War coming out and taking it to them.
Team War right now, they were down when we were looking at the picture-in-picture, as you say, by quite a margin. So for them to come back in this fashion is a huge moment here for Team War. This is Rascals, though, looking over towards this rotation, trying to get in from the back line. That hasn't exactly happened here in Team War. They are in a position here, Andy, where you can imagine they could probably fight this one from the front.
Yeah, they might be quite comfortable too as well. But Wardy actually going to just stay alive a little bit, play sneaky. He's been spotted out, though, by Mythics, and that will mean a plethora of players arrive to clear him out. That will now give Dizzy's Rascals the control that they've wanted, but they still can't get themselves into the hill because, again, the gunfight's being won from the front. You've got Denton now trying to get around the side, and he's found the gap. Could he split this defense here?
It's ultimately the question, isn't it? Team War still pretty inside the hard point. Also, just playing his life for the moment here, just making sure that Dizzy's Rascals do not get for the time. And well, there you go. The kill starting to come through from Team War. Denza wins one on towards Henry, looking for the second versus BB Connor in the middle of the map, but will not find it. So Team War here, this has been a highly successful hardpoint from them. They could put some serious distance in between themselves and Dizzy's Rascals. Mythics, though, getting those exit frags mean that grip hold over the next hard point should be relatively safe here for Dizzy's Rascals, but it really feels like this objective here for Dizzy's Rascals, keep Team War out of P1 and make sure they do not get through to P2.
Yeah, you got to play that game for sure. I mean, you can see players like Henry trying to get aggressive up past water. You want to make sure you are not doing too much. You don't want to have those flip spawns. It won't matter if Harry continues to win the gunfights and push himself up through river, because Dizzy's Rascals now need to start to think, okay, we've got players trying to get up river. We're losing the P1 anyway. Where do we invest our time on this one? We're down to 46 seconds on your game clock, so that's definitely going to come in as a factor. Harry up to 5. Streak potential. Do the spawns flip? Yes, they do. It is nightmare scenario for your Dizzy's Rascals.
Not good, is it? Team War managed to filter through a very important moment here. The objective has been completed for them. Now it's about holding it though, because Mythic's in from behind. Could well flip this entire situation on its head, but it's all based on where BB Connor is. He does not influence the spawns. The Dizzy's Rascals roster will now spawn up towards Tin, towards the riverside for the next rotation. BB Connor should be able to stay these guys up in the middle of the map. Wardy picks up 2, one with the nade, one with his weapon, and that might well spell disaster as War start to swarm through. Denzer in the backline does lose one, but Henry has so much to do. He gets shut down, and War are in.
Yeah, a huge two-piece out of Wardy there to clear that. You had BB Connor sat up on your God tank. You had a player sat in the back of the map for P2 as well. And a lot there for what was a really bad situation. Dizzy Rascals flipped completely. And then Wardy pulls it apart by his fingernails. Up to 5 himself. Will dive on into the point. And Team War are just moments away from winning this one. We enter our final 20 seconds of game time as well, Brody.
Rascals here. Contestant won't even do it at this point in the game. You say it's 18 seconds overall on the game clock. War know they can just play that one. Henry does fall in the middle of the map. Big stop there coming out from Team War. Harry trying to slide on through to put down that overall game time. But there is some time being given away here to Dizzy's Rascals. But the question is, how good is this rotation over towards New? The margin of error is extremely small. War just needs 7 points, 13.5 seconds on the overall game time, and War will be the first one to touch. Denza trying to overextend towards the familiar map to put this one home. Can anybody touch? No is the answer. Dizzy's Rascals get shut down at the first attempt, and War, they will win there in emphatic fashion. Dizzy's Rascals, I mean, they hadn't even really extended their score from when we jumped in on the picture-in-picture.
Yeah, 100%. It was about, what, 160 to 100 on the picture-in-picture. So throughout the rest of that, you've got a 150 to 25 victory, essentially, through the back half of that map for Team War, which is, on Bow Cage, a ridiculous factor. There's not many money hills that you can string together. And they weren't even in initially for the one that you would consider to be really strong, which is obviously back towards the P4. Bottom of river, essentially. Sorry, my apologies, P5. We're back with our AIM Esports Rocker Academy series. AIM Esports winning your hard point. Sukri Viyako for your first round.
Sukri 1v1 against Jacko. Oh, Sukri! No, Sukri! What a way to open up the S&D! Jacko, that's a kill! That's never not a kill! Yeah, give him the balls. Give him the whole sack.
I was saying, like, this needs to be Sukri's seasons. This Sukri's having some real struggle lately. Needs to step it up. Needs to make things happen. Goodness me, that's a way to build your confidence back up a little bit. That's a way to make a statement. I've got to see that from Yako's point of view. What on earth just happened?
I don't want to see it from Yako's point of view.
I don't think Yako didn't want to see it from Yako's point of view. Good lord. Sukri there, by the way, toying with the idea of a sniper. Let's see what he plays with here.
He's going for the auto. Safe but steady. Doesn't really matter that much. Sukri, come. Oh, Sukri. Boo. We're disappointed. But of course,
Super, though.
Expect this out of Super. He should be running a sniper rifle 24/7, really, but doesn't matter. He's not really the effective player in this situation. As Eric Beam is able to get 2 kills inside University. Lucky now 1v4, and Lucky is the one running the sniper. This is actually not that surprising. Yeah, I think the communication at the start around was who's running the sniper. Oh, did he get got there towards the end, or did he die from the map full damage?
I'm not sure. I did kind of look for a second there. He
It
took
looked
damage
like he
from
got
something. Yeah, someone might have gotten themselves a free kill there. We obviously didn't get to do the preamble, but just to kind of give you guys a bit of a setting of the scene here, Super is by far the X factor when it comes to search and destroy. The guy is absolutely ridiculous. 70% first blood win rate throughout the whole of stage 3, winning 27. If he has that sort of impact about these S&Ds, Rock Academy can kiss their series goodbye.
Indeed. Amy Sports to be on the offense for this round. Look at the aggression coming out from Metals. That is completely unchallenged, by the way. He's able to push through that lane. It's not really a lane that's ever really left open, but Metals is still completely unaware, our Rocker Academy of his, or our Amy Esports, excuse me, of his positioning. He could do so much more damage. Perhaps Yakko can trade things out, but no, he gets shut down. Super 1v4. You're dead. Metals, the playmaker in that round.
And we go very aggressive, as you said. It was unchallenged, probably just completely unexpected. Beautiful stuff out of Rocker to play on the front foot. A bit of initiative there. You know, you can see we don't have, unfortunately, the mini map in the bottom left corner. Of course, we've got it covered over, but you do have there your X-ray to see that there was a lot of players sitting back for Rocker. So happy to let Metals just play his game there. Opens up 2 big kills. Suckery following in with the other 2, starting off strong. Teams just answering each other back, though, at this point. You feel Super here. We're going to get to see some sniper action.
Oh, Super. Oh, but Sukri, and doesn't even get that one. Nice nade from Sukri. Knew exactly where Super was. Just needed to keep him in place for long enough, and that's exactly what happens. And now, first blood here for Rocker Academy. Give him another one as well. Metals 4 in a row now. He should be able to get the bomb down pretty much uncontested. Journey, unfortunately, couldn't catch the train on time. Falls right off. And Rocker Academy with yet another round here.
Yeah, that's the one of those now where you're finally starting to build a bit of momentum. When it's traded backwards and forwards, it can feel good if you're seeing yourself up in that column, but it's still that very much so neck and neck game. Back-to-back rounds now to open things up a little bit. We spoke before about how these two teams have matched multiple times recently, and all the S&Ds have been won by aim. Well, if they're going to do it, they need to start to get moving now. You do not want to be chasing a long gap on Desert Siege.
Not exactly easy to come back from. You can see in the picture-in-picture, by the way, Invincibles starting their search and destroy now versus Katana Gaming. We'll keep you guys updated on that match as it continues forward. Nonetheless, though, Rocker Academy now 3-1 up versus AIM Esports. The bomb will be down. And the retake come through.
An important kill out of Eric Boom, by the way. Metal was up to a 4. Sukri does have his own 4 and fancies himself a little bit of a jump shot. Okay. Misses, unfortunately, for us. We don't get to see that, but Lucky here slipped the net with only 20 seconds to go. You feel this is done.
15 seconds, yeah. This one is absolutely done. Lucky will make it a 2 versus 2, but for Rocker Academy, I think the bigger problem here is that you just don't have the time to get the bomb defuse, right, ultimately. Sukri, 4 in a row. I would take the nearest corner, sit there, do not do anything overzealous. He's still going to go for some of these kills. It's a courageous play, I will say that much. You get taken down, and that could be an important round, but nonetheless, AIM will win. Keep themselves within touching distance here of that Rocker side.
Yeah. Get themselves that plant down nice and early. Good stuff out of them. Trying to answer back, not allowing Rocker Academy to seize all of the initiative. You feel a lot here does come from Rocker off the back of this potential streak play. The problem is, and a lot of teams do this, they slow down too much. They play for the streak too much and end up unsettling themselves. Suckery's got to start to make moves here and get that streak decided.
Suckery throwing the nade over again. Will it be the thing that falls Super this time around? No is the answer. Journey also here to play. Oh, Metal's not a go. Oh, that would be the second time that Yakko falls to a spin in this game. Doesn't happen, though. For Academy, 1 man down.
Oh.
Lucky? All right. That's the floor there, mate. That's not Eric Boom, but it doesn't matter right now. Eric will fall. 3v3, we go.
He is a minute individual, but not that small. He's not going to pick this up. And Super here, has he missed this? Oh no, Sukri does not manage to clean it up. The stun comes through in the end, and that will now put Sukri up to a 5. Another one to keep watching. Yakko here, though, peeks the door and might have a route in around the back.
If Sukri's the player to take him down, that is rough. I think it was the other player that managed to get it done, so Sukri will not get that 6th kill, but nonetheless, yet again, another important round from Rocker here. Sukri keeps that streak alive. And Amy Sports just falling behind somewhat.
And Real ending up there getting that final kill. So still no streaks in play yet. But at this point, Sukri really can just start to sit over his teammates a little bit. You can see that he's looking for those opens. Journey for AIM Esports, who currently struggling at 1 and 5, needs to find his way into this game.
Sukri looking to get the snipes off here. Onto Eric Boom. Oh, he gets naded out, and for Sukri, I would just play your life here. These nades are super oppressive, but he actually throws the nades right back to try and get a feel for where Eric has actually situated. The nades galore at the moment. As AIM and Rocker just trying to get a feel for where one another are. And for AIM specifically here, they're trying to get this bomb up towards A.
Oh.
Ooh, okay. There we go.
Okay, that was weird. Yeah, I was Real there managing to pick up Journey. Doesn't spot Yako though, so the bomb actually managed to go down. It's just 3v4 situation though, so numbers advantage for Rocket to retake this.
Whether or not AIM can play in and around University and try and catch these Rocker Academy players off guard, that's a question. I think that Yako is trying to achieve that right now and does exactly that against Metals, but doesn't quite expect Lucky to come through and trade things out. So 2v3 now for AIM. Here on the defense, and Sukri, well, he's going to take down Eric Boom. Another big head to take. Super can't really do much there in the 1v3, and Rocker Academy able to win yet another round. And again, you know, I mean, at this point, I don't even think it's maybe the biggest factor to talk about. There's a 3-round difference between these two teams after all, but Sukri still keeps that streak alive.
Yeah, I feel like he's been playing with that streak for almost the entire game at this point. It might well just be that playing his life is working more for him than going for the kills, but yeah, 1 round away from getting themselves back in this. A flip of the script from what we were trying to talk about at the top of the show. You feel like in that situation there, in that round, AIM really needs to get themselves control of University. And I feel like they've lacked University control pretty much through the entirety of this. Really just hoping to get a plant down and set up something post. And it's just not playing off right now. Sukri going for it, the final kill to finally give him that glide.
Snipe would be a beautiful way to receive it, wouldn't it? Could he take Super down? That's the question. Super, don't peek, my friend. Just stay hidden behind those lines. Super's trying to get the snipes off on towards Real. Isn't going to get it just yet. And these snipes at the moment, they will be whiffing. But it is all at the end of the day to just keep AIM Sports away from that site. Especially not having the numbers here for Rocker Academy. I would just use this entire round to try and get that glide.
Such a commanding advantage, such a commanding lead indeed. I think you've called it correctly. Try and get that glide for Sukri, and you don't need to throw too much at this. Now here, might get over the top of a couple of players, actually. There could be some really good timing. Unfortunately, Real backs off at the wrong moment, but if he does push that round, we might have a situation where a lot of AIM Esports are caught in the back.
I think Rocker Academy are well aware of where these players are situated. Yako does take down Lucky, and Real gets that 1 kill, but Sukri has to play his life here. If not, this round might well be a massive loss, and he's going to take the snipes off onto towards one player. Super now approaching, though, and Sukri falls. A massive head here for AIM to take. Real now in the 1 versus 3. He could maybe separate out these players, but Yako shuts him down, and what a massive round for AIM. They win it, of course, keeping themselves alive, but Sukri falls before the glide bomb can be earned.
Yeah, 100%. Shutting that down could well be the decider, because you got the feeling there that Rock were very happy to just play back and try and allow that to come on in. And there's got to be some frustration there as well. The fact that they spent so long trying to build into that glide, trying to play around that it then doesn't pay off. There is still a way back for AIM to make. You still have Rocker Academy on your match point, but momentum can build and shift quickly in a search and destroy.
Rocker Academy just need the 1 round. On the defense, it should be, technically speaking, easier to find it. It's now being thrown over. Yako getting the advanced positioning here. Needs to win this one, and he does actually do so versus Real. So, massive first step here in this round for AIM Esports. But Yako cannot fall with this bomb.
Eric manages to give an even bigger advantage to AIM here, and these are the kind of situations, and Metals has absolutely nowhere to go. Sukri's just going to take one off the side of the map, and suddenly AIM within touching distance. This is one of those scenarios where if you're Rocker and you do have the situation where AIM come back and manage to take this, so many question marks all of a sudden. For me, after yesterday's reverse sweep loss to War, Rocker need to answer big in these sort of scenarios where his back's against the wall, or you're up against this high level of opposition. You need to make serious moves on the map. I'm looking for proactiveness here. I'm looking for something on the opener.
Look at this aggressive round coming out from Rocker Academy. They want to put this one away. They don't want to go to a round 11 versus AIM. Be a disastrous result, wouldn't it? Metals looking for the first blood. Has he found it versus Yakko? He's still confident in the gunfight. Yakko is still alive. And Yakko, there's just so much information that you gain from that.
And you can see immediately that they've rotated over. There's a push coming somewhere through that mid-map. Super managed to get the opening pick. And actually, the AIM could have just split the entire rocker setup here.
Yakko looking for that first blood again. Even if he plays his life and just brings this round down. At the end of the team, AIM are the team on the defense, right? So, big plays coming out. Journey going to finish that kill versus Lucky. Real's going to fall to a close-range sniper from Super. And still, Metals now a 1v4. This would be quite something to close this one out. And it's still possible, but 30 seconds on the clock.
Well, looks like we are indeed, unless Metals can pull off something absolutely out of this world, and he will not, we are going to a round 11. This has well and truly now become a question mark for Rocker. You are in a situation where you could have seen this off 6-2. You could have had yourself the glide. You could have done so many things around the map. And then you've got players looking a little bit shaky there in your top university, not winning gold fights, not taking first bloods that are massively important, and allowing AIM to grow in confidence into this game. Journey's pulled himself back into it. We're on with Super, with the sniper. Can he open this up?
Round 11. This would be catastrophic if Rocker Academies were able to let this one slip like this. Steady as you like. Amy Sports looking to grab something. Oh my goodness me. If Yakko gets into Woods University in this way, it would be huge. Look how far Lucky has pushed up here, Andy. Super's going to draw that first blood. Now we need to see the reaction coming out, and it needs to be fast.
Lucky does answer back, but Journey will then trade that out. And we spoke about it before. Super picks up so many first bloods, 27 throughout stage 3. 27 times he gave his team the advantage in a stage, which is absolutely absurd. But he's going to be peppered up now. It's 2v2 for the round 11. And you feel, if AIM take this, that's a dagger to the Rocker Academy.
Eric Boone might well be the playmaker. He doesn't win the gunfight. Not just yet. It's still continuing versus Real, his former teammate. The Young Guns going at it here over in the dunes. And Eric wins the duel. Now Metals, 1v2, needs to clutch up and dig deep. AIM have retrieved the bomb. 20 seconds left. All Metals needs to do is stop it going down. And I make it sound so easy, but AIM haven't exactly made a commitment towards a bomb site just yet. Metals could still do this. Could maybe catch these players off guard. Here we go. Super goes for the plant. Metals. Does he locate Eric Boom in this position? Does he locate Super before the bomb plant goes down? No, he doesn't, but he gets Super on the post plant. Eric Boom almost gets the 1v1, but AIM make an incredible comeback to keep a flawless S&D record in Elite versus this Rocker Academy team in these forms. Goodness me, you cannot let that happen if you're Rocker.
Eric Boom took flight at the end there. He wanted that kill. He wanted to end this. Some superb stuff. At this point, if you're the Rocker Academy, playing S&D against AIM is like the boogeyman for you. You have got to, in that chat, I'd hate to be wondering what they're saying to each other right now. How have we thrown this away? How have we given this up? You can forgive the hard point. It was a close contested game all the way through. 5-2 up, nearly a glide in possession. I said during that round, sometimes teams, what they do is they change. They play for a streak. They slow things down. They become very passive. They upset their own rhythms and overinvest into the streak. And that's fine if you get that. But if you don't, you've then completely lost all your momentum and given the other team the initiative. And that is exactly what happened here.
I don't even know how to analyze it, to be honest. It's just
with no
like,
mini-map, neither do I.
Yeah. Okay. I'll pass that comment. But regardless, yeah, I think it's just one of those things that Rocker Academy will just be super frustrated themselves, right? To allow the comeback to happen in that way, to allow AIM a way back into the game, especially in a crucial map. Again, right? We were talking about Search and Destroy, and it does really feel like for both of these two teams, Search and Destroy is the one area that we need to see improvement. For them to win it in the series would have been huge. But yeah, 2-0 up now, our aim esports and Rocker Academy. Unlike what happened yesterday, they are now the ones that require a reverse sweep versus the aim esports side. It is going to be a tough one indeed. The one positive I will take away here, the one silver lining that you have here, if your Rocker Academy is, again, when we go back to those best of fives that we saw in season 3, both of the control victories did go to Rocker Academy. So that is something that we will have to note, even if you are going up against a team which is, historically speaking, a very good control team. Who knows what will happen, to be honest, Andy? We don't know. I guess we'll find out very soon. Before we get towards that control, though, we're going to go to a very brief break. When we return, we'll have more of myself and Andy casting some Call of Duty and more of this brilliant Spanish face-off. Everybody, welcome back here to Rocker Academy versus AIM. Apologies for missing basically the entire round of the first control. These guys are super fast, by the way. You wouldn't believe it with the gameplay sometimes, but regardless, Rocker versus AIM, it's going to be Rocker kicking things off on the offense, and they have a kind of a last chance dish effort here to make their way on towards AIM. Metal's trying to win those supporting engagements over towards Docs, and it means that him dying, Lucky has to get a more involved play here in the action, but it doesn't matter. Rocker, they can still do this.
They can, but this has certainly not gone their way on the opener here. And after losing the first two maps, you'd have hoped for a little bit more. Nearly. And that will essentially be the final wipe. AIM Esports with a ridiculously solid defense. I'm pretty sure that's not even a single tick of progress, right? I haven't missed something there.
It's one. I think one tick of progress.
Wow. That is not the start Rocker needed. If you're AIM Esports, if they're the ones in control of the lobby, I can completely see that they would have been wanting to very quickly move into this next map. Rocker Academy, all at sea right now, need to answer back big, need to do the same sort of shutout that AIM just did to them. The thing is as well, if you look at those KDs, there's not a massive gap between. It's small, but right now, all going AIM's way.
Indeed, AIM Esports now looking to make their way on towards the point. Would be a brilliant round if they could secure this one. Would really put a serious dent in Rocker's chances in this series. But Real, trying to defend the point, does get shut down by Journey. He puts himself in a bit of an out-of-pocket position. Excuse me. And he's even pushing very far forward here to try and give some space towards the players sitting inside the point. But the bigger problem here, Andy, is, of course, at Rocker Academy, they've actually got players in from behind as well.
Yeah, so the one thing... Never mind.
Just throw the analysis out the window, mate. It's Eric Boom. That's all you need to say.
I was about to say, the big silver lining here for Rocker, Sucker's in through the back. You have opportunity here. Doesn't matter, because Eric Boom shuts down the 3 supporting players immediately, and Sucker is sniffed out. First tick has already come in, so you've matched Rocker. Second tick comes in, you're ahead of Rocker. You are feeling very good if you're AIM right now, because you're also battling out for P1. A massive battle over there for Yakko, who unfortunately loses it, and that will then give Rocker Academy somewhere to build a defensive foundation from.
AIM Esports will secure 8. That one's out the way. For Rocker Academy, it's about the post-capture positioning. And they've done the right thing here. You've got to imagine Metal's pushing all the way up towards Beachside. You've got Sukri inside the anti-air gun as well. This is what you want to do to make sure that AIM do not get out of the spawn position. Can anybody slip their net, though? That's the question. Eric Boone will fall. I think Yakko did actually get past enemy lines, but doubles back here to help out his teammates. Recognizes that, well, if one person gets through, it's probably not going to do all that much. But, Andy, the bigger problem here is Metals. He's pushed so far up, finally does get shut down. So maybe there's an opportunity here for AIM Esports to get out of the spawn trap.
Yeah, and if anything sums up the series so far for Rocker, it's the fact that Metals looked at the same angle for a good 30 seconds, saw nobody, turned around and got shot in the back. So it's very much so just going against them right now. AIM being brutal, clinical. You have to clutch up on those mistakes when your opponents make them. They're doing a great job. However, that being said, Rocker are managing to get themselves a bit of a life advantage here. They do have themselves a bit of P1 control. Yakko, though, trying to get in through green and could upset the reinforcements, cut them off at the knees.
Lucky. Gonna hold on towards a ring. He will fall. So now, floodgates might well open here for AIM Esports, but you got to be careful of players coming in from behind. Metals, he was the arbiter of the beach, and now he's going to be the arbiter of the anti-air gun as well. He finally falls to Yakko, but that's seriously damaging. This punches a hole in the offense from AIM Esports. Maybe they can recover here. Sukri trying to play close towards the anti-air gun. He's able to get one, but the trades do come through from Yakko. But again, you know, these individual plays, it's just not going to work when you're just butting heads against the Rocker Academy defense line. Just 20 seconds now on the clock here for AIM Esports. You can kind of see they're just holding back.
Yeah, I think that they're pretty satisfied with the fact that they're going to be up several ticks. You're right about the plays, the attempt at individual plays that are being made here. Suku's got a massive gunfight against an arriving Eric Boom, wins it. Very important indeed. There will be a last moment here from Yakko, but he is traded out. And that will be that for this round. You called it right there. There's too many individual plays coming out of AIM Esports, moments where players are essentially trying to pick up 2 and 3 pieces against an entrenched Rocker Academy side. That's a difficult thing to do, especially on Gav, where everyone's blended into a bush or a pillar of some sort. What you wanted there is to perhaps get more pressure in through the spawns, hit things at the same time. It won't matter too much right now. AIM will still be feeling good about themselves, up by 2 ticks. Rocker Academy last time were shut out completely. Got to be a stronger start going into this one.
We're only down by 2 ticks of progression, so if they can at least capture A, maybe they can shut AIM out on the following round, but they have to capture A here. If not, round number 5 defense will effectively be in the hands of AIM Esports. And they get it done. That's the question. Pushing all the way through here is going to be Metals, who can cause some serious damage, especially as the rest of the team are also starting to pick up some kills on towards the point. There is one player who will slip the net, though. That is going to be Journey. If he doubles back, that will cause some serious problems for the defensive line. And he wins that opening gunfight as well. So for Rocker Academy here, you found your way onto A, but just as quickly you found your way off it.
Yeah, this is Definitely starting to become panic stations if you're Rocker Academy. They have to start making some serious sort of progress. The first kill there will open things up. Yakko sat just above there will pick one off. Be aware of where the rest of the players are. Dips out, plays his life. And this now is just so frustrating. If you're the Rocker Academy, they do eventually find him. They do get a couple of kills, but there's still someone here to trade it out. Finally able to get themselves onto the point. And actually, there's B presence from Lucky as well.
B presence from Lucky could well be a great swing coming out here from the Rocker Academy side if they get it done. That second tick of progression should come through, and I think this entire point is probably going to come through. I like the decision-making being made by AIM Esports right now. Make sure they prioritize clearing out green because they do not want to see this swing, and now they're going straight for the point as well. It will work out. Real's been pushed off the point. Sukri goes as well, and the capture doesn't come through. The 2 ticks of progression will be there, but for Rocker Academy, that capture just simply hasn't been. AIM Esports now. Can they get a handle on this point? Can they shut out Rocker Academy right about now? Here come those Rocker boys on towards the point. Real is feeling the pressure for the same side, but here we go. Able to get one, looking for the second, does find it first. His journey, super there for the trade, but Metals is going to be in. A nice nade from Yakko to take him out of the point, though, and Rocker Academy, they are desperately trying to send player after player towards the point.
10 seconds left to go. A definite panic station. No more about it. And actually, this could be a sprint through because Super's got to rotate. And actually, the players check back. Metals check back and dives. Does not get the touch. AIM Esports go up again. Don't lose essentially all but... I mean, you need 1 tick of progress here. If you are AIM, you need 1 tick and you are guaranteed the defense in round 5. And if you are new at all to the competitive Call of Duty, you're dipping your toes for whatever reason, offensive rounds are not easy in control, especially on Gavutu. As you are seeing, you want that defensive side for round 5. AIM, just 1 tick of progress from ensuring it, but can they go even further? Can they push this and take it right here?
So just 1 tick of progression here will guarantee a round number 5 defense, but they could well win it here. And Journey off the rip is already picking up some gunfights. Super with another one as well. And you should start to see the aggression, but look at Yakko pushing all the way through towards B. If he can cause these problems, if he can get these kills and disrupt the defensive line, A might well just be immediately secured here and maybe even B following that.
Yeah, and he picks up 2 and then gets away with his life. And Journey finds Lucky, who was actually trying to sniff Yakko out. And there may well be better progress at B than there was at A. Rocker Academy all at C, desperate to find something. A couple of kills do finally go in, but your tick of progress is in. It is a guaranteed defensive round for AIM, and they've looked invulnerable so far. From this point on, very much so able to send everything they want at the rest of this map.
Well, at least they cleared the LST for the moment. But once again, it's AIM Esports because of the fact that Rocker Academy didn't have anybody pushed up towards the rock face. They're able to get right back on through. Does this push work out? Still got Real pushed through towards the ship that could put a hole in the offensive line. Able to pick up 1. Look for the second here. Not going to find it. Will be lucky to take them out. So Rocker Academy, again, you know, you do have these moments where they're able to clear to a point, but AIM Esports, they have full map control over the middle of the map. They had anti-air gun. It gives them the path on towards B. And now can Journey do anything here? While here, unfortunately, he is but a spectator in that play. He will be taken down.
Yeah, I understand not wanting to get into the tank necessarily because of the amount of practice these players put into nailing the perfect grenade into there. But MP40 let out in the open is never going to be an easy gunfight for you, young man. Another tick will come through at A. Still got 30 seconds, and players are getting picked off around the boat. Lucky, really, the last one here to kind of thwart this, and A will come through. So you've still got 90 seconds and a commanding life advantage, and Yakko's here.
Oh, Yakko in from behind. This is not a good round for Rocker Academy, especially as those extra 60 seconds get added to the clock. It's really not out the realms of possibility for this one to come down to the lives and AIM to close out this 3-0 here. We're starting to see this, Season 2, Season 1 Sukri's Bakery that was so dominant in control. It is still one of their strongest game modes. The kills continue to flow through. What a flip of the map, by the way. Rocker Academy should continue to spawn up towards the jungle side. So they have a path back and towards the point, but a 16 versus 4, it is just so unrealistic.
And I love this from AIM as well. As soon as they got the capture, they upped the pace. They just sprinted onto everything. They were fully aware that they can. As long as a teammate hits the trade, they're done. No respawns remaining for Rocker. Gotta be heroics from this point on.
And you're still allowing players to filter through. Journey able to get in from behind. That takes Metals out of the round. Real.
Okay.
Looking at player's life, it's just these really odd positions that you got to imagine Real's going to get caught out sooner rather than later. You can see on the mini-map those players starting to sandwich these guys in towards the anti-air gun, but towards the defensive side of the spawn. And there you go, AIM Esports. They look like they might have to go to round 5 for it, but with the capture in a very dominant round number 4, they're able to get it done in 3. And, I guess that makes them right now, I mean, the better Spanish team, right? Doesn't it? A 3-0 over Rocker Academy in their 3rd consecutive win when we're looking at these two teams as they currently stand with these rosters.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. I think that sometimes we as casters, we as a community can get a little bit caught up in calling certain cores of certain teams, Spanish team 1 and Spanish team 2. Without a doubt, at the minute, AIM are the best team from Spain, very much so on the pinnacle of being the best team in Europe. Looking ridiculous. Rocker Academy could not recover from giving away the lead that they had in map 2. We're going to hop over into the Katana v Team Invincible series. We have our controls. Katana 2-0 up, looking good.
Is this actually 2-0? Because I know last time, obviously, we were
Well,
2-0.
that's a good question.
Yeah. All right, we've been informed it is actually 2-0. We've not been bamboozled this time around. So Katana here with a potential upset versus Team Invincibles. And we should say, I think from a contextual standpoint, what an upset this would be, by the way, for Katana, a huge win.
Yeah, 100%. It would be, on the flip side of that, a bit of a setback for Invincibles, who looked like they'd finally managed to pick up some sort of momentum throughout the back half of this season. Just a little bit better, but lose this one, and suddenly that is reset. Joker, by the way, he had a fantastic map 1 from what I remember, dropped a 40 bomb. I didn't get to see much of the S&D, but now leading the line again for map 3 here. I haven't seen too much of this young man, I'll be honest, but he's looking impressive right now.
Now, Rafi looking to impress here on our screens. Will end up falling for this Team Invincible site. Now potentially can they find their way out to the point? Niles found the path here through fire, and it's a good opportunity here for a Team Invincibles. 45 seconds left on the clock here. This A push is more than possible, but they just need to be, I think, a little bit more convincing with the kills. And well, there you go. 3 down here for Katana. They can at least get the second tick through.
Oh, you love it when a caster curse pays off, Brody. They immediately answer and they barrel themselves in through the front. So this could be the answer back that Team Invincibles needed. Hey, typically the more difficult one to get a hold of. Team Invincibles having very little problems with it. A 7 life advantage as well. They continue to win out the gunfights as they are right now. And you're as good as done here, but Kez has managed to get in through the back, and that will just not allow Invincibles to set up a set wave that they want to pull together.
Joker and Keza gonna get these kills. I think the bigger problem here is in this game, as you say, right, 8 versus 14 for Katana Gaming. It's gonna be a tough one to pull off. You need to be almost flawless, and Team Invincibles are within touching distance of the points basically 24/7. So for them here, this is going to be a bit of an easier one to take down that A point. Can they get it done? Niall has found his way in, also has the support of Rafi on the tank on the outer edge of this control zone. Just got to make sure you get these kills, and so far that is not going their way. Katana will clear that first wave of kills.
And then everything is red right now, including team kills. Unfortunately, you feel like that team kill could be a major flip all of a sudden. There is 40 seconds to go. Actually, no respawns remaining, so still very much on Team Invincible's hands. And they find the picks. There's your opener. Oh. Okay, Keza, we'll see you in the next round. Joker here, last alive. I said he was impressive. Oh, I said he was impressive. Lights up too. And you do have time here. 30 seconds to go. Perhaps a couple of opportunities to find some picks.
It would be sensational, wouldn't it, if Jocko was able to pull off a 1 versus 8, was that in there? But yeah, 1 versus 8 is probably not going to happen. Invincible's able to close things out, and with a wave of gunfights here, able to effectively secure A. And as we always say, if you secure A when it comes to a blink control, you're very likely going to secure the round. I think there's one time I can remember where a team has secured A and then actually consecutively not secured B following that. But I think what made it more cemented was the fact they had what I think was a 10, I want to say, life advantage after securing A. Those situations are just so tough to come back from.
Yeah, it was a considerable lead. Obviously, we missed the first half, more than that, really, of that control. But it looked like one where your Invincibles had completely slayed out. I'm not sure who it was, perhaps Ross J, but one player in particular was struggling to keep up with the pace that was being set in the map. This is still, though, a massive opportunity for Katana to indeed get a bit of an upset victory here. One of the sides that came in, definitely one of the underdogs within our stage. You won the first hard point. Every bit of belief, perhaps, to go and win the second, but it wasn't too long ago, Brody, that we was talking reverse sweeps. So we know that those are very much available here in our elite.
Yeah, indeed they are. And if anybody's going to do it, I think it's probably going to be Invincibles again. This is not a roster that you can take lightly. I believe I want to say they got top 12 at the Toronto event. They were one of the better performing teams
Yeah.
over there. They made a run as well. I believe I want to say they even beat AIM in that lower bracket. So they are still a pretty good team. And again, you know, when we talk about Invincibles, they have been like a sort of top 6 team. They've been on the cusp of breaking that top 4 for quite some time. Of course, they were actually in it in season 1, but that was a different variation of the team. Furious was on the roster, and well, they were a lot more successful than thereof. But regardless, we're going to remove our attention away from Katana and Invincibles just for the moment here. We're getting back in towards another matchup, Team War versus Dizzy's Rascals. This one is a 2-0 lead right now to Team War. Not all that surprising.
No, not at all.
It's
and
not,
I think
yeah.
that,
Wait,
I think
is it Team War? Is it 2-0? Am I being dumb?
I'm pretty sure it's 2-0. Yeah.
Excuse me, my brain is fried. Just go on, Andy.
No, it's all good. It's all good. You had me double checking as well. Don't worry about it. I'll scrambling over here in the back. But yeah, no, I think the thing with Team War as well is they want this one to be quick and clean, right? They've got Toronto Ultra after this. You do not want to be investing a ridiculous amount of energy into a series against, with all due respect to Dizzy's Rascals, a team that Team War would expect to beat. So they want to make this control relatively quick. But actually, if you're Dizzy's Rascals, you're pushed up quite far here. 50 seconds only left on the clock, and only 1 tick of progress for the Team War side.
Dizzy looking to push up towards the rooftops, keep Team War at bay. Trying to keep these guys spawning as far back as possible. Map control at the moment is very much in favor of the Dizzy's Rascals roster, but, you know, I would say it's a shaky hold as BB Connor get to take down Ward on the other side of the map. The important kill comes through from Maple. Mythics will fall, and now the path has been opened up here for Team War to try and get a hold over A. I don't know if Dizzy's Rascals are going to be able to stop this. They will certainly try, but Henry's falling on grass. I imagine they're probably just going to give this one up, and yeah, that is exactly what happens now. Fall back here, wait for Team War to make that push towards the next control zone.
Yeah, but the problem is for Dizzy's Rascals, you're losing a couple of kills on rotation. That life advantage that you had has been reduced. You do have, though, progress up through P5, so you're aware that everything's going to come in through the north, and Henry's going to catch them all.
Henry still looking to play his life here. Denzer going to be shutting him down, though, and now for Team War, perhaps an opening up the front of this control. Got players towards the back. Denzer tries to pick up two with the Tracer in. Nobody from War has actually jumped towards the point at the moment. I think they're just looking to secure around. They don't have full control just yet, and Maple is about to find that out as Henry making the long flank in from behind towards Patio. He doesn't even need to, by the way, as BB Connor and Dizzy will clear the point.
Possible panic stations there. I spoke about that P5 presence that they had. Dizzy protecting his Rascals was pushed up through there, but Team War just cleared it out immediately. There was no slow of the progress. The transition was clean. They don't, however, manage to dive the point quick enough for me. Perhaps a tick missed. And if you are Dizzy's Rascals right now, you're looking to just essentially play a little bit of TDM, repel this wave out.
20 seconds left here for War. Got players close by. You could absolutely do this. You've got to make sure you remove Mythics from that back position. It's a good start as Harry picks up 2. Wardy with another one as well. And now we start seeing this progression come through. Even if you only walk away with a tick here, it's a big victory for Team War. Mythics, though, looking to put a stop to this one. Able to get one. The trades potentially coming on through here from Maple and Harry, who were able to pick up the kills. Just 8 seconds. Somebody has to jump on. Harry, all on his lonesome, will get shut down. And it comes down to the skin of their teeth. A 9 versus 4 to close things out, but Team War are not able to get any progression there towards the end.
Yeah, I actually felt like Dizzy's Rascal set up very, very deep there towards the end. I understand that sometimes towards the end of a round, you just want to play back a bit. But when you're so far up in a life advantage, let's just see if you can go out and get 1 or 2, scout things out a little bit, give yourselves the opportunity to set yourself up early and be aware of where the players are arriving in from. You managed to clean up in the end, hold on to it, take that defensive round, and giving up, I believe, 3, but potentially 4 ticks. So not a big amount of progress here for War, but Dizzy's Rascals are going to send it to A.
These Rascals want to go for the old faithful classic push towards A. Will it work out, though, as Denzer and Harry are going to start off by taking down 2 of the players. It will give them opening on the point. Still got to be careful. Wardy coming in from behind now. I think these guys are just trying to delay so that Wardy can pick up those gunfights. And here you go, Wardy. He's going to explode. Picks up 2. And now, really, if anything, all you got to do here if you're Wardy, just continue to distract so the rest of the team can push through grass.
Yeah, 100%. He perhaps falls a little bit quicker than he would have liked. Denza was the man who was playing essentially contest Angel for Wardy, allowing him in to get them cleaned up. And War have a lot of presence here. They're pushed up into fire as well. The problem is they don't have anyone arriving in from ruins. They need to start sending something in through the mid-map in order to try and split this apart.
Even now, Dizzy Rascals still haven't been able to get the point finally with that kill on towards Denza. It should be the capture that they desired. An extra 60 seconds will go on the clock here, and a little bit quicker than we saw from Team War in the prior round. So these Rascals have quite a lot of time to make this one happen, but they have to be careful. They do not want to be pushed back right off the rip. And to be fair, the trades in the end are being actually won out by these Rascals. So BB Connor has some modicum of control over that maps area. Henry looking to push through now towards Church. And I think for Dizzy's Rascals at this point, it's trying to filter players through to try and get some impression on towards the point. And this could be that moment. Dizzy pushing through. He actually does get shut down. Water being very cautious at the moment of these players filtering through.
They are, and you feel like at the minute, War just have that little bit of extra zip about them, especially in the gunfights. They always seem to have a reinforcing player as well at all times. Mythics here just trying to catch players, and the thing is, if you don't clean up those little bit of kills, you give away so much information, you then fall anyway. Dizzy's Rascals do have 90 seconds. They're only down by 3, so they do have plenty of time and potential to turn this one around and get themselves forward onto B. And Dizzy's pressure here through the back could be paramount.
Potentially, they've got to play through the back line, as you say. It's just whether or not Team War realize it and how quickly they're able to actually deal with it. Wardy almost gets that second on towards BB Connor. That would have absolutely demolished the play momentarily. But look at the flipping on the map. This is still going on, by the way, as Team War, they think that they have control of the spawns. That is not the case at all. And now they need to go back to deal with these players. You can see the gunfight going down from Maple. He will end up falling towards BB Connor here. So now the progression starting to come through. War need to find their way on towards the point. They got to deal with Dizzy and Henry. And here comes Denza to do exactly that. In from behind, looking for the 1v1. Will find it versus Henry. The nade on towards Dizzy as well. And they are able to clear on out. But that was a really weird Mexican kind of stab situation we had there for a time.
Yeah, it was bizarre. Dizzy's was through in the back, and War almost didn't care. They were happy to just back off a little bit. Wardy trying to get a little bit sneaky. And unfortunately, it's cut down. And a couple of kills here. That's 2. That could be a moment there to kind of explode on through. You've got Dizzy arriving from the mid-map in through your C side, your radios, and manages to get a kill. You feel that's important. 7v3, 15 to go.
This Rascal's just down to the last player now for Henry. They don't even get that first tick of aggression through. I think for Henry at this point in time, you can already see it in the gameplay, right, Annie? It's like, right, I'm just not going to give anything away here in this position. I have 0 reasons.
Yeah, I mean, we obviously don't play lives anymore. We play ticks, so essentially nothing given there. He's never going to capture that whole point. Even in his wildest dreams, he's not taking that one home. But one apiece, both defenses answering. Pretty much the classic, as you would expect. The A site falls nice and early, and then B's repelled. It's perhaps a missed opportunity for Dizzy's, who did get themselves into this back line where you can make things happen. Looks like we are going to get another A standoff, but actually one player for War heading through P5.
And that player will just be making sure that nobody from Dizzy's Rascals make their way through to the spawns. And, well, that hasn't exactly happened, but Team War have their own player that's got behind enemy line. Densis are going to kind of disrupt the process on B. He's actually just going to come back to help his teammates here, and I think he recognizes that, you know, they have no foothold over A at the moment. He would be much better served doing some damage towards the defensive line.
Absolutely, but actually that kill from Wardy is just going to open up the entire southern side of the map. I don't even think he's going to dive B in the end. He's just going to try and delay any reinforcements coming from Dizzy's Rascals on to A, and that's exactly what he's managing to do here. I think he's maybe missed Mythics. He will get caught. He does. But the fact that he's pushed out that far, rotated the Dizzy's Rascals around, is just going to allow A progress to come on through for the Team War side. Good stuff out of him. How do Dizzy's Rascals answer back, though? Last time they were very comfortable setting themselves up for B and holding it, but this will be considerably longer than last time out.
We've already got one player pushed through here. Harry looking to do some more damage, of course, the new addition towards this Team War lineup. As Wardy falls over towards maps, I think War are just going to want to take their time, wait for Wardy to spawn back on up, and maybe push this one in from behind, just like we saw Dizzy's Rascals do on their offensive line. Of course, that didn't work out for them. But War have quite a few options here. to make happen in this choose your own adventure game. And maybe Dizzy might be the one to put a stop to it. He's only able to get one though. Henry might just be the playmaker as he going to be putting a stop towards Maple. Oh, it's so unfortunate, isn't it, for Ward? He recognizes that some he's inside maps, but doesn't check the obvious corner.
Sometimes you just overthink it. Unfortunately, Woody there, you're right. Doesn't check the correct spot. And oh, goodness me, Maple's just killed everybody. And Harry as well gets the grenade in. So, as much as you do get a couple of kills, progress halted really. You got to buy your time. That's a big gunfight from Henry. Again, nothing clean for War. Nothing giving that is just nice and easy for them to stroll in on this B point. You're going to see Dizzy's Rascals just try and set themselves up a little bit. But I feel it's kind of scrambled at the minute. Opportunity for Team War.
They're getting players in from behind. They're just not doing anything that effective with them, right? I mean, Wardy's got this one gunfight, but he needs to do more. And maybe this is it here. He's gotten the kills. Team War. If I'm War in this position, I just stack on towards the point. You just want the one tick of aggression. If you can win the ground, that is all well and good. But the one tick would effectively guarantee a round number 5 defense, and that is what they want at the end of the day. And I think they were just a sliver away from getting it there as the defense comes through. They did not get that tick. And, is that a decision that will befall them later on in this control? 9v9 still.
I agree with you entirely. I thought that they should have dove that and made sure that they were picking up the defense as much as possible for round 5. They are currently leading, but every bit helps. And actually here, up 9-7, winning a couple of opening kills. There's an opportunity to bite at this cherry again.
They need to make this one successful, though. The trade's starting to come through. And actually, to be fair, Wardy doesn't fall there, because both Wardy and Denza are still here. Denza looking for the entire lot. Give him the entire platter here. That first tick should now surely come through. And Denza wants to force the issue. Give him number 5 in a row. He will get it. And there you go. They win it on lives. I don't know if they got that first tick through, but it doesn't matter anyway. An offensive round victory for Team War puts them in a brilliant position to now win this control.
Just the flip, the turn of pace there. There's those 2 kills to just open up Dizzy's Rascals for just a minute. And the reinforcements were not able to get back across the map quick enough to give them plenty of cover fire, to give them the support. And once you're in that position where you're essentially trying to sprint into power positions that the enemy team already have, you're giving up a lot of gunfights. And this is the life count for Team War in the end. Dizzy's Rascals looking to answer back 2 opening kills. 3 opening kills will be big for them. Allow them to push in through church.
To be fair, we talk about the last offense coming out of Dizzy's Rascals. A convincing A hit wasn't the problem, right? I mean, again, they were much faster than Team War were in both occasions at capturing A. It was actually following that one up. This time around, though, Dizzy's Rascals, I think they wanted to set themselves up for that AB swing. Hasn't exactly worked out. They haven't managed to capture the A zone just yet, and the trade's still going down. Harry, the next player to penetrate the defensive line, he tries to make the flank happen, and it will be shut down. So Dizzy's Rascals, they've been offered a moment of reprieve here. They're going to be able to capture zone A. And just a quick shout out to our picture-in-picture right now. Katana Ricochet looking to stave off the reverse sweep. And you can see already with the scoreline differential on that Berlin hardpoint, it's looking very likely that that will happen.
They're looking good over there. Invincibles have got to start to move. You are down to last chance saloon, really. Katana Ricochet stepping up from their performances yesterday and really taking the fight to a side that they probably would have not been expecting to be anywhere near. Back to our Team War v Dizzy's Rascals matchup. Life count essentially even. Dizzy's Rascals do have A control, and BB Connor sniffs a rat at tiles and finds him, gets him. Your Dizzy's, though, do remember they gave up that offensive round. They have to win this, and it is a big ask. Control Maple here. He found a route through the back. He had.
They got to actually convert it, though. That's the problem. I mean, you can have all this pressure, but it has to amount to something. This is Rascals. Maybe they can do that right here. The kills coming all in their favor. The first tick of aggression will be through. They're looking for the entire capture, and that would actually put them home for a defense in round number 5 if they could get it done. But no, they get pushed out. The one tick is all they're going to get. But still, 90 seconds, 14 versus 11. I've got a feeling this one might come down to lives.
Yeah, Dizzy's have got to do exactly what Team War did in the last one. Flip the script a little bit on the pace. Turn that dial up to maximum. Fly at everything. Try and win some gunfights. Actually, a very important gunfight that Wardy wins just a moment ago to stop that pressure through the back. And you don't check corners, but you traded. Pinstripe feeds. The thing is, that is going to allow Dizzy's to dive in on the point, but they've still got 2 whole ticks to go, and the reinforcements need to arrive.
Yeah, they're comfortable with trades at the moment. They've got a 3-life advantage at this point in the game. That is huge. And then those trades still occurring. War looking to push Dizzy's Rascals out of the point, but the pressure really starting to be felt now. 9 versus 7. Dizzy's Rascals still have players in and around the point, and the namesake for the roster is one of those players, Dizzy. How much damage can you do here? He isn't able to win the opening engagement, so War will clean out. They'll bring the life advantage down to 0 and 45 seconds on the clock.
Well, one of the things that you have to think about if you're Dizzy's is how much information can we learn? What can we pick up if we do then have to play offense in that final round? We might not even get there. 2 life advantage for War, 30 seconds to go for Dizzy's. No respawns remaining, all of it to do. They play this.
Got to be perfect. I know people are fed up of us hearing that, but it has to be perfect, and maybe this is it. Dizzy and Henry, they get a kill apiece. For Harry, the new addition to lineup, what can you do? It's actually going to be Maple sitting in the corner that picks up 1. Harry with 2. Now stand Mythics, a 1 versus 3, 10 seconds. You gotta go fast. Can you get it done? No, is the answer. And that round number 3 was clinical from Team War. I was a little bit concerned at first, you know, when they didn't just go for the round number 5 defense. But I tell you what, they got it done on the second attempt at the conversion. Goodness me, Team War gonna win this series 3-0.
Yeah, and it's exactly what they would have hoped for. I spoke about it before, that you've got that massive game later on against Ultra. You want to be conserving as much as you can for that series. Let's hop back in with our Team Invincibles, Katana, Ricochet. Katana still leading within touching distance. They have the male rotation, an opportunity to see it off here, but that gap is smaller than it was before. Invincibles with the momentum. Katana win the 2 opening gunfights, though, and Invincibles have to fly.
Anna looking to close this one out in 4. Invincibles. They're going to break on through, though. Grad and Nolson combined for 3. There is still a path back into this game, by the way. They can't win it here anymore, but they could push Katana Ricochet to continue to spawn on this side of the map. It is a long shot, though. Can they get it done? Katana combined for 2. And now Nolson, you need to get your cape on and bring out your inner hero. Can Grad do anything? No, it's the answer. Niall, Rafi, you got to try and hit the point, and it doesn't matter. Katana Gaming, they will upset Invincibles. And what I would say is our first real upset of stage 4 here.
Yeah, absolutely. Invincibles will be kicking and swinging a little bit. They will... last time out, they came 5th within the group stage. No, wait, sorry. Let me double check that.
I think you're right.
Yeah, I think it was 5th. So just short, essentially, of getting themselves a guaranteed slot in the next stage. And I think that this one, they're looking to go that one bit better, make playoffs. Can't be having games where you're being upset by one of the teams that you would expect to be towards the bottom of the board. But Katana come out swinging, make it happen. You're right. It's the first real upset. Invincibles, I feel like I've seen a lot of the players talk about the progress that they've made throughout this year, what they were hoping to do, the goals that they have. There is some serious talent on that side. This will be disappointing.
Yeah, look, we've seen highlight plays coming out from all 4 of these Invincibles players, and I do want to talk about them first. I know it's probably not the conventional thing to do to talk about the team that just lost first, but, you know, we'll do it anyway. You know, Invincibles, again, you know, we have seen highlight moments from players like Grad and Rafi, and even Niall. I think, you know, we noted the fact that he'd stepped things up in Season 2 after what was a not-so-great Season 1 performance from him. Of course, Nolson joins this roster for Season 3, returning from another land beyond the world of Call of Duty. You know, yeah, he played well. So it is disappointing, I think, for this Invincibles roster. It puts them in a bit of a tough spot moving forward, because this is one of those matches that you expect to win. For Katana, on the other hand, I think it sets a precedent for them bouncing back after yesterday. You know, I'm not too sure what the second match was like. I can't even remember, to be fair. But I do remember, of course, that they started things out with that matchup versus Toronto Academy U. And, well, that, I mean, they started well. They won the first map, but they got absolutely battered in the following 3. So I think this is a good recovery for them. Now they just need to continue moving forward and get more wins, because the path to qualification is, you know, you got to remember, this is only an 8-team you know, event, 8-team league, if you will. You know, the path to qualification for playoffs is always tough when only 4 teams do make it to that stage. On the other hand, though, of course, we did want to talk about the Katana Dema roster, because you know, again, this is highly impressive for this team that didn't have a good day 1.
Yeah, and I think you're completely right about not a good day 1. They were mullered did not have a great one. So, and then sometimes it can be scary as well. You step up into this level of competition. You've made that run to get here, but if you have that opening day one where you get battered around a bit, you can see teams their heads kind of drop. Okay, we're not ready for this level yet. But to then come out swinging against Invincibles and take the full series, really, really good result. I still wouldn't be backing the side to make it through to playoffs. I think there's quite a bit of quality still for them to go and play, but you never know. You end up with these weird tiebreaker situations sometimes. You end up with these spots sometimes where things get a little bit mixy amongst your mid pack. They could put themselves within shouting distance. And if they do that, that's got to be goal achieved, really. They'll have learned a lot.
Yeah, indeed they will. Of course, Katana Gaming there with a victory over Invincibles. Of course, the other match that you and I did just get to see as well was War getting their 3-0. They will be happy with that one. I think a very important victory for Team War, especially moving into our next match, because that is a lot of momentum on their side, Andy.
Yeah, 100%. It's what they needed. It's what they would have almost expected from themselves. And when you can just put out that professional performance, if you will, that clinical performance, it just resets you, lets you calm down a little bit. You know your foundations in. You are going to have to take it up a gear when you come into the Toronto Ultra game. Without a doubt, the quality there is exceptionally high. But they'll have that bit of steel, that bit of belief that they know exactly what they can bring to the table. Toronto, by the way, I believe that they lost that early one, right? To aim 3-1,
Oh,
didn't
okay.
they?
I was going to say, I was
No,
so
no, no,
confused
no.
for a
Yeah,
second
yeah,
there.
yeah.
I
I
was
mean the
like,
game to
hello?
aim, right? So if they lost that game to
Yes.
aim, there's more question marks there building into this series. Again, you go into a day like this, you're investing a lot of energy into series to then lose as well. You've got to really then kind of bounce back and come into this Team War series hot. You can't afford to just feel sorry about yourself, tail between your legs sort of scenario.
Yeah, indeed. I will say as well, because what I was referencing in my head was like Ultra EU are technically speaking playing a Wobbabobs, so I don't know what's
Yeah,
going on with that
yeah, I don't know
matchup.
what's going on with
Maybe
that.
everybody can tell us. I'm not actually looking at YouTube chat because I'm not silly, but nonetheless, yeah. We will tell you guys right now that Ultra EU and a Wobbabobs is still technically speaking scheduled to be going on right now over at youtube.com/COD challenges. I believe Spaceman and Dream Crazy are taking that match up. So if you guys want to go check that one out, if it isn't already finished, because we simply don't know, because we don't have that information on our hand right now, you guys should go check that out. In the meantime, Andy and I are going to go get ourselves a cup of tea, crumpets. I know I make that joke all the time, but that is actually what we do. In our breaks. When we return, we're going to have a banger of a matchup. Team War versus Ultra Academy EU. It is not one that you guys are going to want to miss. We'll see you after the break. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Call of Duty Challenges broadcast brought to you by Clutch here for Elite Season 4 in Europe. If you're just joining us, my name's Infinity, joined by Enigma. On the casting desk, Andy, we had some wet and wild matches to kick things off today, and they're only set to get wilder as we have a brilliant matchup ahead of us. It's War, it's Toronto Ultra Academy EU. It's time to see what these new look rosters look like against one another.
Yeah, right. I mean, this old chestnut of lineups between these eight gents I mean, we've got storied history going back years between everyone in this lobby, basically. But of course, it's the new look rosters that we wanted to see. We wanted to see them come up against each other. Obviously, Harry, after his time on London, goes to War, does not go back to the Toronto Ultra team that he was playing for before. And Wee Man goes instead from War to that Toronto Ultra spot. So, how did they look then? How did they play up against each other? Well, we had a couple of storylines already written out before we came into this one, but the book gets deeper a little bit. Toronto have lost both of their games today, Brody.
So here's the context, right? So the matches they lost, the first one was an aim, and that was a 3-1, I believe, and the second one was also a 3-1, but it was to the Awobabobs roster. I have to like prepare myself mentally to say it every time I
I
have to.
know.
The Awobabobs roster. So I don't know why I struggle because if I actually say Awobabob, I can say it, but I just can't say
I
Awobabobs.
don't even think that was
Anyway,
right, but okay.
Awobabob is correct, right? It's like the
Is it
in-betweeners
not just
reference.
a
Anyway,
Wobbabobs?
no,
I
yeah, the team
swear.
is a Wobbabobs, but I'm as sure as hell that it's a reference to the In-Betweeners movie. If it's not, that is a hell of a coincidence. Anyway, regardless, what were we even saying? All right, so anyway, yeah, back to the point. Wobbabobs were the team that beat Toronto 3-1 in that last matchup. And I think again the context is important. The aim, obviously, that's a big victory for them because of the fact that it's a rematch of the season 3 finals, in which, by the way, two best of 5 victories went the way of Toronto Ultra Academy used for them to be crowned European champions for season 3. So big redemption arc there for AIM to win the match in the round robin stage. But secondarily here, that matchup for a Whoopabobs, at this point, I'm not sure because a Whoopabobs now, technically speaking, they're on top of the standings. They're 3-0. Is this team the real deal, or did Toronto slip up? I mean, that's kind of the question we have to ask, right?
I mean, I think that a lot of the questions about a Wobbabobs will come the deeper into this we go. You've got the riding high momentum, clearly feeling very good about themselves right now. There's a lot of quality in that lineup anyway, be it sometimes inconsistent quality, but quality nonetheless. I mean, elite winners of the past. So
Yeah.
we definitely have a side there that can, on their day, hit that kind of ceiling. I think the big worry here for me, if you're Toronto Ultra Academy EU, is that will have played your first. If you come out poorly in this series, you'll have played your first 4 games. You will have lost 3, won 1, and then you still have Rocker Academy to play. You don't need me to do that
Yeah.
maths for you. You start to possibly miss playoffs. Like, don't get me wrong, we've had in the break, by the way, if you happen to have missed it, Challenger Champs has been announced. With that's all going down on Twitter. Do get into that. But
Shut up, Andy.
the
Stop talking about
what I was
it.
going to say here is they are still in that spot for
Yeah.
your global top 4. If you struggle to make playoffs at this point, how many questions and panic moments are going through you right now? Because you have to be perfect when you get to that stage.
Yeah, and I don't want to say as well, because the general conversation. I know we're kind of getting ahead of ourselves here, and maybe coming off the track a little bit in terms of this specific match with War and Toronto. But I think it is a good point because generally speaking, when we come into this league, it generally feels like you've got a league of two halves, if you will. You've got the top
Yes.
4 teams from last season that it really feels like they should be cemented still as the top 4 teams. Again, Toronto, War, AIM, and Rocker Academy. Those 4 teams should be the top 4 teams, and I felt like coming into the season they would again be the top 4 teams. And then, of course, you've got the challengers that are joining them. For a Wobbabobs to come in here and actually upset the status quo, it puts a lot of question marks over, well, hang on. If
Yeah.
they're 3-0 right now, which team is currently in danger of not qualifying? And Toronto losing to Wobbabobs does put them in the firing line for, hey, they might be the team. So there's a lot of question marks again. There's even this early on in round robin, you start to see a few of these implications starting to come through. I know, obviously, maybe we're not describing it very well, but effectively it does put Toronto in a spot of danger. For Team War, though, on the other hand, currently 2-0 after their last victory, which we just got a chance to see versus Dizzy's Rascals. An important victory for them, but now they face a real test. Not their first. They got the reverse sweep yesterday versus Rocker Academy, but you got to imagine this is still going to be a test nonetheless.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, Toronto are going to be aware of the situation that they've now put themselves in because, as you rightly said, you often expect those top four teams to go through. And the bottom four, it's one of those. If you are losing to teams that are in the top four that were here last year, it's concerning for about playoff considerations, but actually getting into playoffs, it's not that big a deal. It's when you start to lose to the teams that have come in new, and Toronto will be fully aware of the situation that they're now risking putting themselves in. So I fully expect them to come out swinging. It's a ridiculously good lineup of a roster. I mean, Beans, Furious, Vortex, and Wee Man. How many
Yeah.
victories do those guys have just in the last 2 years? It is absolutely absurd. But War did what they needed to do earlier on. They did a professional job of just getting through that series that they had against Rascals, comfortable 3-0, seemingly just put themselves through the early paces. So I think a lot of this series is going to lie on the start. If there's a tough start here for Toronto, they could be really struggling mentally to get themselves out of the blender that they could potentially be in. 2 losses on the day. That's not the kind of thing that these boys are used to.
All right. Well, look, we've kind of spoken a little bit about the rosters. Let's talk about the elephant in the room. Let's talk about this roster change that has happened prior to season 4. For those of you who are kind of maybe out of the loop as to what roster change went down, of course, Gizmo has made his return towards the Call of Duty League, back on the London Royal Ravens lineup. That meant a space is now vacant on the Ultra Academy EU roster. A Wee Man has filled that spot, leaving Team War, and well, who to fill the void on Team War but Harry returning from London Royal Ravens. It is a bit of a peculiar change, isn't it? Because when we saw this change happening, I was like, right, well, if Gizmo's going back up, Harry is surely going to fill the spot back again on Toronto. That hasn't actually happened here. It feels like Toronto have actually opted to bring Wee Man back into the team. And Andy, you and I, we had a little chance to discuss this. And I think we're kind of on the same page in saying that actually, Wee Man is one of the more underrated players, has been for the last couple of years. It is, I would say, actually quite a good decision from this Toronto roster to bring him back in the fold.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, Wee Man had a 1.41 KD in search across the whole stage last time out. That's ridiculous. That is absolutely absurd. 70% of the first blood wins. So, absolutely huge for the War team last time out. So, it is a big scoop from Toronto to manage to get him in over. Don't get me wrong, Harry obviously is
Yeah.
still a massive pickup for War. He's a player that tends to finish games very, very strong, learns as the game goes on. Felt a little bit underwhelming on London, but he was put into a difficult situation. So, I still fully expect him to be at the top of the pecking order. The interesting thing here for me is, of course, London recruit from Europe, and we have the situation where players are obviously competing within challengers amongst players in their roles, essentially to be the next in line, the lady in waiting to go up into London. If I feel like this is just as much as a battle between those two to kind of still set that tip to that order to figure out who still is number one, number two for if London come looking again.
Alrighty, well, for now, I think the immediate response for these guys, the priority, if you will, is going to be making sure they win out here in Season 4 of Challengers League, the final season, no less, of Call of Duty Vanguard. When we're getting towards this best of 5, we're going to be kicking things off here on Tuscan Hardpoint, and we can take a little look at the stat lines for these two teams, comparing them with the old rosters. We will put the asterisk on that one for Season 3, and this was a very strong map mode combination in Season 3, Andy, for Team War. They were 4-0 on this one. They didn't lose it once.
They didn't, but weird start to this one. It feels like a Team War get a whole bunch of kills down, and then all of a sudden it's immediately answered by Academy picking up their own whole bunch of kills. P1, the rest of that scrap will go towards War, so they'll have themselves a little bit of a change of a lead at the start here. But Ultra rotated in for 2. Steve, I'll push out to control your top church. You can see the Ultra have the presence in the back tanks as well. Set up Harry with the opening pick.
Steve-O looking to get these rotational battles in favor. He will only be able to pick up one, so Wardy and Maple still over here to try and contest on towards this time, and Maple should be able to get this done, barraging straight in through the front of the hard point, and will be punished for his insolence as he does get taken down. So Toronto to defend this point for the moment, but still a long way to go, and I like the overextension coming out here from players like Steve-O, of course, historied player within European Call of Duty there, does eventually get shut down, but nonetheless at the moment, Ultra going to be sucking up some time. Maple, though, to disrupt the play, having some help from his teammates, but they will end up falling. Maple finally falls, and it is only but a minute disruption here as Ultra should soak up that scrap time.
They should, and for me, War, they perhaps over-invested. They continue to hit too late. Look at the rotation. For 3, Ultra are already there. They've just completely hightailed it. Denza's going to arrive here, lose the gunfight to Beans. Furious has got a massive one up against Maple on the opposite side. It will go Maple's way, so that will allow then a bit of a juke for these backs. So Team War do get in just momentarily. Wee Man here to try and put some pressure on. Scary there for just a second. War perhaps not thinking a couple of steps ahead, and Ultra nearly made them pay the price for it.
Those detonates now coming through from Beans. Really nicely done to take Harry out, and Wee Man going to take Maple out of the back position as well. So for Ultra Academy, they've done enough to remove War from those power positions, but Denza's trying to get back on through. You've got to imagine the MP40 probably not going to be as effective in doing what the AR otherwise would in that back position, but it doesn't matter when Maple is pushed up anyway. So War, they're going to be able to push Ultra Academy away, but even that, it's frustrating, right? When War, you know, they had a solid hold over the hard point, and they're just not able to get all the time, and now Wee Man really wants to put a positive one on that hard point by taking more time away from Ultra Academy.
100%. I think that if you are War, you're a little bit frustrated with how that one's gone down, but we look ahead towards Church, and Ultra will be here again, clearly looking just that little bit stronger at the minute on rotations. It can go that way sometimes, depending on where the map's set throughout the start, but War will need to look to answer back. Beans, by the way, started off 12-4, really taking it to this Team War side, looking good. War is going to pick up 2, and that will allow a swarm on Church.
Here comes War, looking to win the battle. Unfortunately, Wee Man and Furious combining for 3 means Wardy's the only one actually up around. But his positioning has enabled War to now spawn in the backline. They have to use these streaks correctly. A lot of power, a lot of responsibility. And they get it done. Wardy now looking to come in through the side door, just trying to win some time here. 5 in a row for Wardy, looking for a number 6. Almost gets that kill off versus Vortex, but will not get it done. So War now going to be in the hard point regardless. And it is a good amount of scrap time. The battle between these two teams at the moment is furious. These guys are neck and neck.
It is, but at the minute, it feels kind of rinse and repeat of Ultra getting themselves in early, War arriving late, and managing to break in eventually. You just wonder, is there a flip of the script at some point where War actually rotate in first? Does that change our game around a little bit? For now, within kissing distance, absolutely. But we get to this P5, it's contested, there's grenades everywhere, and apparently for Wardy, one of his teammates lands straight on him.
Ultra Academy now looking to hold on through. This would be a good opportunity here for them to put some serious distance between themselves and Team War, and they have it as well. Vortex is causing some problems over towards Ruins, and that just draws the attention of these War players. And to be fair, Ultra are also dealing with a threat up front and close towards the hard point, but now I think they might get overwhelmed, especially as Beans is actually going to take out his teammate. Now he needs to play Kiro inside the hard point. Cannot get it done. So War will break in for the last 25 seconds of time. Ultra, understandably, still not going to give this one up. They want to continue to push players in towards the hard point, and Wee Man next up to bat to do this. Has to be careful. He's on 4 in a row. Make that number 5. He will have the final save for the scrap time. A good call from Ultra to push it.
Yeah, and a big hill out of Ultra. Contested hills like that, if you manage to take away the lion's share of the points, that is a steal away and a half. And they do a great job of controlling the well area, the middle of the map, and therefore just having so many entries in. Rotations in for P1. It's heavily contested from both sides. Wardy will open up with 2, but Steve-O answers straight back.
Steve-O with 2 huge gunfights as well. Ultra Academy now going to storm their way back on through. Wee Man is shut down, so that's a big gunfight for Team War to take. They don't have to worry about any potential streaks, but I think they might have to worry about their scoreline. This game opening up here. Ultra Academy, they're already about 35 points to the good. They've still got 30 protective seconds, and Beans with 3 in the middle of the map. That should be the secure. And for War now, what? They're on the right side of the map, 25 seconds left. How much effort do you want to put into this scrap time?
Yeah, the problem is as well that Beans has already begun the rotation, and he might just slip straight on through down the back. So War might have the right side this time, but it ain't gonna matter if Beans wins a couple of gunfights. Does fall to Harry. You feel that that's an important kill. The sigh of relief is echoed throughout their chat, I am sure. But this is now an opportunity for them to make those adjustments. They weren't in first last time. They had to break it late, and then it was poor rotation into 3. So they change it up now and finally start to put Ultra under some sort of pressure.
And you cannot understate how important that rotational battle was from Team War. But now, again, it's about holding it. And look at the kill feed. Ultra Academy, They clean house. Team War are now going to get some wayward spawns. A couple towards grass. One player spawns at the back. That's going to be Wardy. And now for Ultra, they have read these spawns perfectly. Wee Man, doesn't matter if he's got the automaton. Doesn't matter if he's got the rat. They're just as good as each other in the eyes of Wee Man. He will be now on yet another spree. Finally shut down here. But again, it's this damaging play from Ultra Academy that we are seeing time and time again. They are giving Team War no room to breathe whatsoever. And that is the best way that we can describe how this game has gone thus far.
Yeah, huge battle on rotation, by the way, between Furious and Harry will take it, but Bean should arrive in support. This little bit of scrap time being fought for here will mean diddly squat. Really, in the grand context of things, it's this big rotation that Ultra should be in for. Steve-O's going to lock down the middle of the map, prevent the transition out of war, and as he plays his life more, you can feel he does eventually go down, but Ultra Academy set up. Can they hold this?
Ultra going to be the first one to touch here. It really feels like the last few hard points have been a real dagger for Team War, and they're going to need a pretty quick break here to keep themselves in this game. Ultra holding strong. Only one player has been able to break the front line. That is going to be Maple. Now, they do get 2 kills here. That will influence the spawns enough that War should spawn in the back line. But Andy, at this point in the game, with 25 seconds left, is that actually a good thing when that rotation is looming?
No, definitely not. You don't want to be putting yourself in this position. You can see that there's already going to be top fire control from Wardy. And the spawn that comes in there for Harry, he makes the correct call, backs off, aims to rotate away. The problem is Ultra already down back tank and already have church presence. So they got to win some gunfights and they got to win them from the front.
Now, Team War, they are desperate to get this break. And once again, it's losing the rotation in a moment like this is crucial. Wardy, can he break on through from the top? They're not technically speaking watching it, but now they will be as Wardy touches the hill. He's only able to get one before falling. Oh, the trade's going to fall in favor of the Team War, though. Just Vortex left inside. He's already picked up 2. Now has support from Furious as well. And Ultra Academy, a dogged team at the moment. They refuse to give up on this time.
Absolutely. I said I wanted to see them come out swinging after the disappointment of today. And they have indeed. War seemingly reeling. Don't know what's hit them. Gonna have to make another swing at this because Ultra can still win it.
They can still win it here. 10 seconds, all that's required for Team War. They have let this one slip away. Hill after hill. Furious puts a full stop, bolded, italics. Why the hell not? Ultra looking to close things out. Only a couple kills will do it. Can anybody from War touch the hill? I mean, they'll touch it, but they won't stop the time going to Ultra as well. That is a dominant chain of hard points coming out from Ultra Academy EU towards the end of that one.
Looked so good at various points throughout that. Multi-kills galore, plenty of breaks throughout. I mean, I called out at one point there that I thought War rotated poorly. Can they make that adjustment? They do make the adjustment, and then they get broken anyway. So definitely one that Ultra will walk away from feeling much better about themselves. Definitely didn't come out with a whimper, coming out with a bang. So great stuff indeed from them. For War, I mean, I feel like your ARs perhaps had a little bit of a slower game, but you just never really rebuilt yourself from that early set of rotations that lost momentum there.
We were talking about rotations, right? And it really did feel like, for the most part, Toronto were the ones hitting the hard points first. And even in those kind of consequential moments where we saw War, where, you know, right, we've lost the hard point for the majority of time. Let's go hit the next rotation. It wasn't long before they lost control. And, you know what? I will say one thing, you know, I think for the first 4 or 5 hard points, it worked for War because they could work off the last 30 seconds or so, the back 30, as it were. But, you know, in the last set of rotations, Ultra just really started to pick up the pace. And a lot of it was down to the SMG pressure coming out of the side. Steve-O, Vortex. You know, I will say one thing about Vortex. I think from a statistical perspective, he is rarely an explosive player. Like, his stats will never show anything that's super aggressive and super, you know, contagious. But 33 and 22, this is one of those performances that, while rare, when he does it well.
Yeah, and you can see the kind of bullying, the oppressive play that he was having there across the map. Because if you look at that War stat line, Maple will be the person getting pointed out a little bit with the 17 and 30, but he drops considerably more damage than his teammates, just showing how little of an impact they were able to have around the map, perhaps hold off a bit of the pressure that was being put onto Maple as the AR. Steve-O must have been having his way with them, having a lot of fun. We saw those plays where he was just essentially cutting off transitions from War, not allowing them clean 4-man attempts to break a hill very often. And especially, like you said, in that first set of rotations, War perhaps getting away with the poor rotations and allowing themselves to get the gunfights, to get the breaks. Whereas when it came to that second set, you can only rely on breaking good teams so often. After a bit, they're going to figure you out.
Yeah, indeed. So that's round number one that has gone the way to Toronto. It's not exactly what War wanted to start the series, especially again, because I did bring up the stat line at the very beginning of this game. I was like, right, well, War, they hadn't actually lost one of these map mode combinations during Season 3. Well, there you go. That's a loss served right up on a silver platter coming out from Toronto Ultra. So they'll be very happy with that one. Now we move forward into a Bacage Search and Destroy. And once again, to be fair, the stat lines from Season 3, again, we'll put the asterisk on there that technically speaking, the rosters were slightly different. So maybe the gameplay will be different as well. Again, this one does favor Team War. They played this twice. They won it twice. And we didn't see any of this from Toronto Ultra. I think they hard vetoed Bacage Search and Destroy in Season 3, which is a bit of a surprise, really.
Well, I mean, maybe Wingman loves it. Maybe it's the
Maybe, yeah,
Wingman
that's
factor
it.
coming into this. We spoke about his KD prowess, 1.41 across the whole of the stage, 70% first bloods. And if he's moving across into this team, maybe there's something there where he's like, I understand how this works. He might have, don't get me wrong, I expect War to have changed a couple of things since then, but he might have a bit of a read on how certain players play, the kind of things that they like to do. He knows, a lot of the recent history around that side. So clearly there's something. We've spoken a little bit about this in the past as well. I am a big fan of teams playing different maps and modes in group stages. Because you got to think when you get to playoffs, you want that wide map pool. You want to be as effective as you can across all of it. So I am a big fan of seeing teams step out of their comfort zone, try and take it to the top teams as well, not just the ones they're expected to beat.
The thing is with that, though, it's kind of a multi-layered thing. It's a multifaceted thing, isn't it? Because, in this kind of matchup, do you really want to do that? Because on the one hand, if you're going to, in the round robin stage, again, that you're absolutely right. That is where you want to pull out these kind of maps that you otherwise wouldn't be playing because you don't want to play your worst maps, per se, against these teams in those playoff matches where it really does matter. But at the same time, you've got this added contextual layer now when talking about these teams. Like, for example, Toronto, they've just lost to a Wobbobobs. And again, it comes back to that conversation that we were having at the very beginning of this segment of the broadcast, which is, these teams are now under threat. These guys,
Yeah.
it's not really a given anymore that Toronto and War will both qualify for playoffs. That's not to say they won't, and there is still absolutely well a probability, as a matter of fact, that they probably will. But nonetheless, Dana Wobbobob's victory has definitely put a spanner in the works, and I think put a question mark over that entire thing. So who knows? We'll simply we'll find out as the rest of this round robin stage progresses. Nonetheless, though, we're going to switch our attention over towards another match that is going on right now. The team for which everything seems to be going right, something has actually gone wrong. Wobbobobs will lose map number 1 to Invincibles.
Yeah, I don't know what the actual end score was, but at one point we got the picture-in-picture, and it was a gulf in difference. There was genuinely nearly 100-point clubbing on the board as far as I could see. I'm not sure how it ended, but S&D will start off well for your Wobbobob's side, who go up 1-0, and it looked comfortable, looked very solid. I'm not even sure that they lose a player in the end. Very, very clean indeed. But yeah, that hard point, very much so one-sided as far as I could tell.
Yeah, that's a damaging start to the Wobbobobs roster. Again, this is a roster that I haven't really had much of a chance to see so far. I'm highly impressed with what we've seen. I think from the statistical perspective, at least, Cobra is the player that stepped up to the plate the most so far, and that is unsurprising, if only because he was the standout player on that Soleo Signs roster from Season 3, and of course, GWR Signs before that in Season 2. So, in a right setting now is going to be Cobra alongside this Wobbobobs team. Now on towards the defense, this Wobbobobs roster goes. Invincibles looking to make their way on towards A, and they haven't really got the kills to justify an A plant just yet.
They haven't. They need to get Chax out of this top Grandmaster, but he's just playing his life so well. Delaying time so much, getting so much information, and Brezzy will actually open it up on Nolson, catching him from the wheel.
Fred's going down, but maybe Brezzy here. Do something. This is an aggressive push coming out from Brezzy, and Abuser, well, they recognize, hey, look, well, he might as well just coming from behind. I don't think Invincibles are going to expect the push now. Noise being made from Cobra. What's the reaction like from Invincibles? Cobra will fall, but Brezzy continues his spree. Now 4-0. Does he get taken down by Grad, though? Yes, he does. Now the 1 versus 1 for Grad. Doesn't expect Abuser to be in that position. It's a great play call coming out from Wobbobobs.
That name has got to be something that we work on.
Yeah, dude, I'm trying.
Yeah,
I'm trying.
no, Abusa sits at the back here, picks that off. No, I'm a big fan of the play that they made there. All three hitting the rotation reminded me of, actually, I forget which team was doing it back in season 1, but one side had that almost aggressive conga worm going on there for quite some time, and Wobblebob's bringing it out there just to wrap around the map and flip invincibles, give them no idea where they were coming from.
Alrighty, well, we're going to turn our attention back over towards Ultra Academy and Team War. Technically speaking, this will be our focus matchup. And again, avert your eyes to what you're seeing at the top of our screens. This is not 1-1. This is still game number 2. And of course, Ultra are leading the series now after their dominant hardpoint victory in map number 1. But in towards game number 2 we go. Currently 4 versus 4. Furious with the bomb. And it seems like Ultra, they want to get a piece of that A site.
They do, but again, you've got to be careful of your top grandmas. You got to be careful of, you know, Denza's read the push from below, but it doesn't matter because Klaus and Steve will light him up, send him to the next round, and 3 apiece. Still buzzing around, but you've only got 15 seconds to try and get this bomb down if you are the Ultra.
Oh, and Maple might get some bad timing there. The shots are actually taken in from Furious, so the information is there now for Team War. It's about the reaction of that information, and Furious and Beans going to combine for 2, make it a second one as well. Maple does end up falling, and now Harry for the 1v2. Beans sends him packing, and what a rotation there are the final 2 players from Ultra.
Yeah, huge out of Beans. Provides the cover. I actually thought for a second that Furious gets the bomb down, stands up. He's midway through the animation of pulling his weapon back out. Thought it was absolutely dead to rights, but Beans does enough, gets the kill, lights up the second, and then beautiful stuff for the third. We've spoken about him all year. He's been such a fantastic superstar for this side. Shows why just there, setting an early pace for the 2v3.
Alrighty, Ultra starting this search and destroy strong. Harry looking over towards that spot at the very back of B. Elsewhere, though, that's where all the action is actually going down. First blood's coming through from Team War, and now it's just Vortex and Furious left up.
Maple catches Steve-O midway through the mantle. Furious will be up in the 1v3. Gets the tag out of something, so that's a little bit of information, but getting a lot of the young man here. Figure this one out. Will be made aware, of course, that Maple has the bomb. Probably aware of where it's going. Can he get the angle over the top here?
It's whether or not he gets a clean kill first off, and no, he doesn't. If he doesn't take those shots, I mean, hey, look. This is a lot more realistic, but now the information. The one thing that Furious had on his side is out the window. This 1 versus 3 becomes infinitely harder. I think for Furious in this position, if you can get a free kill somewhere along the line, if you can try and outplay, outthink these guys, well, that would be a good start. But you got to imagine Harry's going to see him sooner rather than later. And there you go. Harry gets the check. Now we'll make the call to the teammates. Hey, guys, Furious is at the back of the map here. Just come and give me some support. Garrison has arrived, and Furious now starting to take some bullets from Maple, multiple directions. And, well, just gets taken down.
Playing the numbers game effectively there, Team War. Good stuff out of them. Is advantage that you want to keep a hold of if you manage to go up. And last round, I was a big fan as well of once they had that numbers advantage, they played the game together. They played it in positions where they were able to watch over from each other, learning from the fact that they just lost a 2v3 scenario. So fully aware that they have to respect Ultra at all times here. Ultra with an opportunity to answer back on their own offense.
How quick of a start do we see here out of Ultra? Last time around, they were slow, methodical before getting that first pick. Like the same again this time around. Furious recognizing somebody's up top in Grandma's. Denza takes him down, and yeah, you can see through those cracks.
Apparently only one way. Denza comfortable with that gunfight. Furious had absolutely no idea. And Denza's going to get a second as well, getting Beans with the grenade. So Steve-O and Weeman stuck very much so in the middle of the map, and Maple gets another. Weeman's left alive and will fall. So another clinical performance out of War, just getting that numbers advantage, getting that first blood, and it out from there. Picks up 3 in the round. Lovely stuff out of that young man. And of course, once he starts to get onto a heater, he can be very difficult to shut down. So something you got to be aware of if you are Toronto. I believe so far that's the first defense to come out on top. Previously, it was offenses galore. So Ultra need to make sure they steady the ship. Don't allow back-to-back rounds again out of War.
For Team War now. Back on the offense they go. Wee Man's just keeping an eye on that riverbed. That's a Wee Man versus Harry fight is one I'm sure we will not see the last of moving forward, but not going to go down just yet. Or still looking for an advantage somewhere. They might find it if they can manage to catch Furious off guard and Grandma's, but I still think, again, for War, looking to find their way towards B. And you got to get past Wee Man to do it.
He spots Maple and rips ahead. Great shots out of him, but Denza's actually fearlessly dove forward to plant the bomb. Will the nade catch? It does not. So the information doesn't come in. It will allow Denza to stay up, but that's another pick out of Wee Man.
Oh, Wee Man goes absolutely huge. Another one in this round. And now Wardy looking for the 1v3. He's on a 3 spree. He's just got to try to defend the bomb. He gets beans, but he gets taken down by Wee Man. And, well, what a round from Wee Man.
Yeah, gets the ace in the end. Absolutely lovely. I mean, opening picks are huge and very much so glad of that one. But you feel that the one where Denza tries to push up through the back, the fact that he catches that just flips the entire script of the round there. Huge. Gonna get to see the final one, Morty, with absolutely no chance. Neither team blinking right now. Offense to offense, defense to defense. Solid out of all players. Actually, you say that, Steve-O, Harry still sitting on 0, still yet to get involved in this one. Can one of them be the X factor, the difference maker? It's no surprise, though, as we said before, Wee Man loves his search and destroy. Bringing it in this one.
I think the thing is, again, you know, we've talked about the increased importance of AR players in COD for the course of this season. Well, I think Wee Man's showing exactly why they're important, but unfortunately, he'll be taken out of the round at the beginning of this one, and Denza follows up with another kill. So this leaves Furious and Beans a bit stuck in the mud, doesn't it? They don't have control of the site. They don't have control over the bomb either. They've got no control over the map.
Yeah, and it just feels like poor opens back to back on offense. If you are Ultra, you're just getting you almost removing all chances for the round very, very early, all circumstances, and then you've no lane control really. You kind of funneled. Furious is going to try and make something work here. Oh, actually wins the gunfight against Harry. That's huge. If he can just get out of his life, Beans manages to win as well. So 2v2 situation, 40 seconds to go.
Now they've got control of the site, but in comes Denza to ruin the party. Jeez Louise. It is Denza, who has been hungry for victories all season long. We'll do it again here in round number 5. Look at this. Plays it perfectly. Recognizes exactly where Beans is.
He's still recovering from that earlier gunfight. Was never, ever going to have a chance of winning that one. Feel that is just starting to turn it up a bit, just starting to nudge himself forward in this game. Perhaps wasn't at his brilliant best in the first map, but you said hungry for victory in the second.
Oh. Team War. On the offense they go. Looking for something that's definitely slowed up significantly here. For Ultra Academy, you know, they do have that secret weapon. Vortex is pushed very far up to the bomb here, looking for his first kill.
We're here. Oh my god, Woody reads it. Woody, Steve-O goes on to 0-6 and is probably unsure exactly how that's all fallen apart for him. And Beans?
Don't ask questions. Just let it be. You can't be asking questions like that. Players. Embarrassing. Anyway. 2v3. The good news is for Ultra, the bomb's not down just yet, but I think the good news is probably going to stop there, to be honest with you, Furious. 1v3. He does kind of the abnormal thing, which is pushes the bomb, recognizing that someone might be watching it, but it doesn't matter anyway. He gets taken down, and yeah, it is that kind of first engagement, isn't it? You expect Vortex to get something there, but he just doesn't.
Yeah, Woody reads it perfectly. I then don't know what happens to Beans. I think maybe the old stop shooting, thinking you've killed him kind of moment, and unfortunately not, and then gets traded out by a teammate. Well, not even a trade in the end. It's just a complete collapse. Very unfortunate if you are Ultra, but also the kind of scenarios you've got to start to see out. Team War will gobble those up all day long. Denza on to 4, by the way. Keep an eye on that. As always, glide bombs are huge when we come to our searches.
Might well be the nail in the coffin for this search and destroy if Denza gets that one done. Wee Man keeping an eye over the site. Nicely read, and actually going to spot Harry out towards the God Tank as well. So this is a nice call from Wee Man. Again, this is why he provides so much value to this Ultra Academy roster. Not going to pick off Harry, though, but you still get kind of the feeling here that War might be in trouble. But at the very least, Ultra, they haven't made much progression towards the site.
Devo, given the dirty job of running the bomb forward, the difficult job indeed. The problem is here, they do have Overwatch from Harry, who is stood on that back tank, finds Wee Man. It is a 3v2, but we saw one of these clutch in the very first round.
This one's done, but he's been shot in the back of Maple. Okay. Oh, that was aggressive from Maple. He was very confident he could get that second kill.
He wanted that. I fully expected him to run away from that one. Steve-O, very happy. We'll take those all day. Man is on the board. Huge kill, actually. I'm not sure who ends up winning it in the end, but Harry was on Overwatch over the back tank, gets the kill to stop the bomb going down, but I'm not quite sure who it was who then trades it out, but a massive kill in order to then just leave Maple a walking wounded animal. All players on the board now. Team War still up by 1.
It's aggressive. A hit coming out from Ultra Academy on the defense. They want to make sure that they have control over the A site. They've got Women in that power position, but Wardy's actually just spotted him out. I think he might have spotted out Beans as well, but it doesn't matter. The site of attack is actually going to be B coming out from War, but they've already lost 2 players here.
It's going to make it even worse. Harry last alive. Those gunshots will give away all the information. Furious has already dove onto the bomb. Wee Man cleans it up. And of course, defuse comes on through. Plenty of time. Very, very confident retake if you are the Ultra. Got that picture-in-picture, by the way, of Wobbabobs via Invincibles. Invincibles taking the hard point. Wobbabobs, though, on match point.
Let's say, by the way, in that picture-in-picture matchup, if Invincibles beat a Wobbabobs, I have no idea what's going to happen when it comes to the overall standings. It is yet another match that would have incredible implications. But as Wobbabobs go down, Invincibles are able to force a round 11. So most certainly possible for a 2-0 start. We'll keep you guys updated on what happens with that one. But 4-4 right now between Ultra Academy and Team War. Ultra have brought this one back to evens and now on the offense once again. Just about getting control of that site. Harry's going to take some damage. The car blow up will make him weak, but he stands resolute in this position.
Just about chooses the right side of that pillar. Days up. Steve-O, though, reads Harry. That's a difficult header to win. A gunfight unknown, unfortunately, falls. And you feel like at the minute, not much is going his way. Might be the most winningest challenger player we have in Europe, in the world at this point, but he is not having a good map here. Really struggling. 3v3, though. Still bomb in hand for Furious. 45 seconds to go. You still have time to pick your angles, but got to start to clear some of these power positions. Looks like we will get that plant down over at A.
Beans just been spotted out by Harry. No, he hasn't. So Beans gets 1. Can he get a second as well? Oh, that was the skin of his teeth there, but doesn't get the kill. 2v2 we go. The bomb now down again for Ultra Academy EU. Furious is making as much noise as possible at the moment. It feels a little bit like Home Alone. Doesn't get any engagements just yet. Maple has managed to find his way between Wee Man and Furious, but the latter, or the former, excuse me, will get the kill. And now Wardy, 1v2, gets the first. There is still ample time here to get this defuse. And he's going to run right past Furious. That's going to be a round victory. I got to pay our attention, though, to the round 11 that's going on right now between a Wobbabobs and Invincibles. A 2 versus 3 for a Wobbabobs. Cobra, 1v3 here. Hasn't got the bomb down, and Invincibles will take it. A comeback from them there. We didn't get to see anything prior to that 5-4 lead that we saw from a Wobbabobs.
Invincibles just being a completely unpredictable factor right now. If you are catching up, they were beaten by Katana Gaming 3-1 earlier on today, a game that they would have expected to win. They fall short. Now, seemingly taking on the team that are unstoppable from everyone else's point of view. Wobbabobs, they're currently 2-0 up. Invincibles steaming forward. Let's come back here to our round 10 for our Team Ultra Academy. Ultra on your match point. Got that aggressive B setup here. Bomb still sat mid-map. No opening pick yet. Board still being moved around.
If anything, all this utility that's been thrown out by Ultra Academy has halted all the progression from Team War. They're looking to get the bomb down on towards A. Maple is well aware that somebody is up top in the window, by the way. They can see the window just slightly wedged open. We see Steve-O's nose peeking out as well. They're looking to get this bomb down. How ready is Furious for this play? Hear the tension in this one. Evo still looking to play Overwatch here in this position, and Team War, they haven't made the progression they wanted.
Both teams here just probing away, and Weeman's actually going to get a lot of information. It's huge that the man just get out of his life, makes the correct call, disengages very quickly, and reads Harry like a book.
Massive opener towards this one. Denza did get away from the site, but now it's going to be about the re-entry to stop the defuse. Furious has already jumped on it, by the way. Is anybody from War going to check this? I mean, Denza could potentially go from over the top, but are they going to reach the site in time? No! What a play call, a heads-up call at that. And I know Proper is listening in right now, so I'm going to use his favorite phrase. 4 rounds on the bounce from Ultra Academy EU to win that search and destroy.
It's brave. It's a huge call. It does not require anything more. But going back to the man that we highlighted at the top of the show, Weeman, with a huge pickup there on Harry. He takes the early damage, but millisecond snap decision to disengage immediately. He does not try and take that fight and changes angle, knows that he plays that information absolutely perfectly, reads Harry, hits the headshots, and gives the opportunity for that ninja defuse to come in the first place. We look across the scoreboard at Steve-O at the minute, running just high fives across his teammates. Didn't have a massive game himself, but it can be difficult when you're the bomb runner. But look at Weeman, look at Furious, huge games out of them.
Yeah, it's those first bloods again. I mean, this is kind of what we've come to expect from players like Weeman. He was doing it actually for Team War when we were talking about this team. Generally speaking, was always getting first bloods if it wasn't Denza for that team, and now he's doing the exact same thing here for Ultra Academy. And of course, on the other hand, we have Furious, right? 2 first bloods to his name. That really important there for the rounds where Ultra Academy were able to get it done. But again, you can't understate that performance, can you? From Weeman. On the flip side, though. Feels bad man moment for Wardy and Denza, no? 10 kills apiece. That's going to be a really frustrating one to lose.
It has. There's only so much you can be expected to do, and unfortunately, it's just not worked out. It's tough as well because they get a lot of the non-traded in. There's a lot of stuff that you can talk about that is what you would hope to check on the box as you go through if you were looking for the victory. Yeah, they would be frustrated coming away from that one. 2-0 down. I said at the start that it's about who starts strong in this series. Do Ultra manage to come out and put away the problems that they've had in the previous 2 series? Apparently so. There was no hesitation there on that ninja defuse either from Furious. Straight up play call. Lovely stuff indeed. If you're War right now, it's back to the drawing board. You got to reset yourself. You made so much progress. It feels like you had that good performance earlier against these Rascals. You don't want to, though, suffer the ignominy of the 3-0 loss if you're up against Ultra.
Yeah, this would be a massive bounce back, by the way, for Ultra as well. Again, you got to remember that they did just take that loss to the Wobbabobs team, and this would be the bounce back that they require. Could it be a 3-0? Well, Berlin Control, that is going to be what's up next, and this is actually a map mode combination that will favor that Toronto side. They were one of the better teams that managed to get a grip on it very early on last season. And it was probably one of the factors that actually helped them win overall, considering how good they were at this map mode combination. Nonetheless, before we get to that map number 3, we're going to send it to a very brief break. On the other side, you can catch perhaps the conclusion of this series. Alrighty, everybody, welcome back here to Call of Duty Challengers Elite for Europe Season number 4. Apologies for the delay getting into this one, but we are into round number 1 of the control between Ultra Academy EU and Team War, the former of which 2-0 up in the series, and while they're starting off in the offense here, things are going swimmingly. They get 4 down, and this might well be a capture out the gate.
It really could be. Wee Man here is already lined up, and the problem is for Team War is that you don't have that mid-map presence. The flank from Denz is going to be huge. He's got to get himself in round the back and cut down this team, but he won't have time. It's gone already. Denza doesn't arrive. Ultra Academy take this immediately. I mean, you brought up before we hopped into this one the fact that Toronto Ultra loved this. They played it 3 times throughout stage 3, won all 3. 2 of those were 3-0s. When you get off to flying attack starts like that, you can see where it's coming from.
Yeah, that's not a good start for War. That's not what they wanted at all. And, well, for Ultra Academy, what a blazing start. You're absolutely right to point out again that the 3-0s that we saw previously from Ultra Academy EU on this map mode combination, very indicative of how good they are at this one. And, well, you just saw exactly why if you didn't already know. Now from War, we need a response in kind. And maybe this is it. They've opted to go for the classic push straight towards B. Let's see if this one works out, however. Furious is going to fall. And again, at this point, I mean, look, there's still a long way off before we'll capture this one, but you do start to ask the question of how much resources do you want to pour into this?
I know you're right. You got to think of that life count just as much. You do see a lot of teams scramble to try and retake a position and then give away and end up falling down dramatically. Maple, beautiful little kill, playing sneaky. The pressure that he applies to A here just means his teammates are just going to continue to get B progress as well, and Denzer actually arrives in the courtyard. That's a massive kill out of Wee Man, because if he falls there, Denzer's able to swarm the hill with Maple on the other side, sets up that pinch and collapse around it.
Ultra Academy haven't actually given away B just yet. They might go for one last chance hit here. Furious attempts it, but does actually get shut down, so for Team War now, this should be the B capture coming through. I mean, they're still kind of sending one player at the control zone. Finally, it will go down, but that took a long time to get there. Now, 120 seconds on the clock overall. Ultra Academy have got themselves entrenched deep in towards the spawn of Team War.
Oh, that's a huge pick, by the way. Wardy's going to get himself in and around the back as well. He's into back lobbies. If his teammates can win a couple of gunfights at the front at the same time, Ultra Academy could be in dire straits.
These kills starting to come through here for Team War, Andy.
Feel as well that the 6 life now lead that Team War possess could be huge, because Ultra can only throw themselves at this so many times. They're going to be running to the end of Harry, who's just up waiting. The flank coming in from Stevo will be a rewarded one. My apologies, as he cleans out Maple and it allows his teammates to surge on through the front.
Stop there from Ultra Academy. They stop Harry from getting those streaks, and that would have been a huge moving forward. And they do also regain control of the point, but of course we do have to kind of avert your attention towards the life differential between these two teams at the moment. 6 lives is the difference. Ultra quickly running out of them. 60 seconds on the clock. There is a very real possibility that this one does go down to lives, but do they recognize someone who might be on the flank? Maple goes for it, hasn't been able to finish the gunfight versus Wee Man. Oh no! Wee Man wins it, even if Maple has the rat. That's not one that you wanted to lose. The life differential is slowly closing here, 8 versus 11.
And only 40 seconds to go as well. If you're Team War, you got to start making some serious progress right now. You have all of B so early, but you're not answering back with the same sort of efficiency that Ultra had before. This might be a little bit aggressive from Steve, although he gets caught. 30 seconds to go. War up by 5.
Ultra now on the back foot in this one. They're looking for a courageous play, and Wee Man's going to try and make it happen. He gets shut down. Now for Team War. Looking to capture on the point. Furious in from behind, though, with the heroics to take down 2. Now he needs to play his life. He is weak, has support from Beans, but is the kill through? That's the question, as Beans gets another one as well. There is simply no way that War do not win this. Surely not, as every kill is going the way of Ultra Academy. You have to imagine that Team War will be very frustrated if this doesn't happen. Just 6 seconds left. It's time to hit right now. You cannot wait for Denzer and Maple to get towards the point. This needs to be an A-class play coming out from Wardy and Harry. Harry will fall. Now Wardy puts the clock down at 1 second. Ultra clutch up.
They clutch up indeed. The problem Team War had is never really managing to arrive in force the bits of dribs and drabs. Unfortunately, it ends up down to that final 45 seconds. The pace that they had towards the back end of that was probably what they could have done with more of earlier on in order to bleed that life counter down and still have enough time to get the picks and just maraud around the map a little bit more. There was some interesting flank plays coming out from players that would then never really never really managed to give them the reward that they wanted, and unfortunately they will drop. Ultra Academy 1 round away from a clean sweep of this whole series.
That's a big stop from Ultra. War not getting it done, of course. We do see the picture-in-picture there, by the way, folks. Another balloon control going down between the Wobbabobs team and Invincibles. The former now 2-0 up in that one. It's a big map for them, of course. They do not want to get 3-0'd versus that Invincible side. We'll keep you guys updated as that one progresses. But back to this one, Ultra starting relatively strong. They almost get that second tick of progression through on towards B, but it doesn't go all the way through. War are going to stop it.
One thing here that Ultra really do have is Beans is pushed all the way through into station. If he gets, oh, it's a massive gunfight. Well, a fist fight even out of Maple just beats him to death. And you felt that if Beans had managed to get that kill there, stay up. You've got Ward desperately trying to rotate over to A to ensure that they don't lose it. And by the way, just to confirm here, that will be as much a confirmation as you can really get that if we do end up at around 5, Ultra will have that defense. Do they even want that at this stage? How good their offenses have been? I'm not even sure, bro.
Yeah, it's going to be tough for sure. I think, you know, the bigger thing is at the moment here, War just needs to take this one round at a time, right? You know, you're on the defense at the moment. Do not let what happened in round number 1 happen again. B has already fallen by the wayside, and they did have somebody in on the flank. That was Vortex, who falls to Harry. So now going to have to take this one in a much forward-facing approach. You also have to be careful because Denza and Maple are setting themselves up for a flanking behind this Ultra site. And here they go. Are they expecting this one? These players, Maple isn't able to finish his food, and Denza gets punished as well. Ultra, they're still making this progression happen. War, you gotta go. You're giving away tick progression, as you say, for potential round of 5, but the immediate problem here, you might well lose it in 3. Maple picks up 2. Now Vortex, can he hold on towards a point? He's just trying to play his life and waste some time for the rest of his team to get through. Unable to do it, and a sigh of relief for the War fans out there. They will not fall here.
It was Maple's mistake that nearly ended up costing them big time there, not finishing off the kill that he should have had at the start, but then picks up 2 big ones to barrel himself back in on the hill. If you pay attention to your minimap, though, you've got the arriving presence of Steve-O. He's going to get themselves now around Courtyard, and it could be huge.
Here come those players from Ultra. They get shut down. Another massive stop from Team War, and now the push-up, a crucial one at that. If War are able to make their way towards the spawn unscathed, they could be able to put this one towards a round number 4. But Furious going to take down the first line of defense and the second as well. Both Maple and Wardy do fall. So now for Harry and Denza, you got to make sure you hold on towards the point. And now, of course, the flank as well coming through from Vortex, who picks up 2. Just the one player on the point now. It's all on Denza. Harry will now help. But again, it's plays like that have been so crucial to Ultra.
Really have. It's Steve-O just continuing to be an annoying presence for Team War, not giving them clean routes out. Weeman now attempting to get himself up through the middle as well. He actually here could have a backline in, and if he gets the timing right, he's got some huge presence here to allow his side to set up a pinch.
And he get it down. No! Wardy takes him down. 4v4 now. Vortex able to take down Wardy. No players around, so Vortex kind of has to do this. And in from behind, they never expect Vortex to come from this position. He's able to pick up Harry. Now the 1v1 against Denza, but Denza wins out. Can anybody from Ultra touch? I think Weeman's actually managed to get past the line, but no, he gets shut down. And War are able to get it done. They give away 2 ticks of progression. So, I mean, I don't know the maths at this point in time, but I think that all but guarantees a defensive round number 5 here for Toronto anyway. But at least they see that round number 4.
Absolutely. Team War, by the way. Sorry, Steve-O. They're nearly with the heroics. Goes on the flank, gets 1, and then the immediate rotation through fire instead of coming straight back at the player behind him was nearly enough to open up the entire back end of the map there. War gonna dive the B point. Beans gets cut down. It's 2 opening gunfights for War. Ends up to a 5. Worth paying attention to. Can he get himself some streaks? Team War need every bit of help they can get right now to keep this going.
Here there in our picture-in-picture, by the way. Amy Sports able to win the search and destroy effort versus Dizzy's Rascals. So they will be 2-0 up in that series now, I believe, moving into a prospective control. But nonetheless, Team War starting on the offense here. Things are going pretty well. And this is almost a mirror of exactly what we saw in their prior offensive effort, by the way, where it's a slow but steady capture of B.
Yeah, just very happy to leave one player resting on it, although Wardy gets a little bit too aggressive too early, and Weeman will kill it, and Maple will trade that out. It is slow and steady progress. They will be a final contest here from Vortex, and nearly spins onto Harry. B comes in then, and that's a whole 2-minute 10 to attack A, but you're right, it's almost the exact same as it was previously, and last time out, it didn't work for War. They've got to keep that high pace early, otherwise, just going to be Ultra biding time and dwindling this clock down.
And the one thing I will say is, War, at least they've kind of punched that first line of defense. Ultra, they've no longer got presence inside the train station. Neither do War. I think they're being extra cautious about the fact that somebody might make their way along the train platform. And, of course, they're just wasting time for Denzer to make the play in from behind. In through the window. There's the first kill. Denzer, it's time to explode, my friend. Looking for the second. It's going to be Harry picking it up. But the opportunity is absolutely here for War now. They're looking to make this capture happen, and the kills are starting to come through.
Proof and pudding of the reason players practice their movement so much. Denzer nails the jump in through the window, gives him a routine that meant that Weeman never sniffed him. Woody here just going to cut off the arriving defenders. Beans will trade it out, but you nearly have 2 ticks of pressure. The important thing here for War, you've still got 90 seconds. They've played the time perfectly and 6 lives up. Still trying to bring this back in.
I'm not taking anything for granted at this point, but Denzer's going to do it. Oh, goodness me. Well, yeah, practice makes perfect, right? So, he's 1 for 2 on those jumps. Doesn't work out the second time around, but what I was going to say is I'm not taking anything for granted. We saw this kind of life differential, but this time things are different. Feels like time has changed here. 13v5 and War are now on towards the point. If I'm Ultra, I just send myself towards the point. I don't know, again, what the kind of tick progression looks like, but you do not want to lose this one by ticks.
No, yeah, you're right. Just take the gunfights. Get yourself cut down. Furious here will be the last man up. He will fall. Team War have answered back with 2 of their own. I'm pretty sure that the maths means that Ultra should have that defensive side. But Team War just won their own attack round. If they can maintain that kind of pace, if they can, again, play that setup that they seem very comfortable with, put one on B, and let him sit there, and the other 3 just Hail Mary the arriving Ultra reinforcements. They could see this out. This is far from over.
I feel like for this time around, Ultra Academy, they can't give up B so easily. I know they're being uber cautious, but I just don't want to see that out of them there. And while this has been a really good start from War, even though they're trading, again, if your objective is to make sure you give enough space to breathe over towards B, that is exactly what's happened. And look at Denzer, by the way. This guy is flying across the map, so much so that Ultra have little idea as to where he actually is. That the call has been made for a Weeman to be pushed towards the back line, and they will finally shut him down. But again, it's that same result where War are making that progress on B.
Yeah, absolutely. You're right. There needs to be more here. Weeman trying to do it all, but unfortunately cut down by the AR presence of Wardy. And the thing is as well, you're not winning the gunfights mid-map. You're not getting clean gunfights around the A station. And that just means that it's reinforcing that cautious approach from Ultra. They don't want to overstep. They don't want to overinvest. The life count will be even. A whole 2 minutes and 10, though, for War. Big 3-piece that should allow them to push on out. Wardy, though, will actually be through here. So, again, not allowing Ultras to set up a solid defensive cordon. Actually, look at the presence of Steve-O. Where's he gone?
Steve-O is he's set, mate. He's kicked his legs up. Got himself Martini. Taking a break while the rest of the team deal with the threat up front. And to be fair, it is going to kind of make them paranoid in a way, because obviously at this kind of level you are counting names and you're wondering where Steve-O is. I mean, finally they take him down, and that's only because of the fact that Steve-O does reveal his position. But War have a secret weapon of their own, and it's Denzer making this jump time and time again. Somebody needs to get kind of like a reel of Denzer making that jump over and over again. Nonetheless, though, the pressure has been alleviated. War potentially have an opportunity now to make their way on towards the point here. Vortex has it all to do. He's only able to get one, but has that done enough now for Ultra to make their way back on towards the point?
Only able to get one, but it's a huge one. Does enough to allow his teammates to arrive just a little bit, but Denzer opens up with 2, but Steve-O's in round the back, and he does get potentially timings here, but no, cut down. Team War, they're onto the site, 1 minute and 10 to go. Lives basically even.
There's no way this happens. Surely not. It would be 3 rounds in a row from Team War. The reverse sweep within the control. There are kills coming through. Nades from Weeman and Beans, but they have to get Maple off the point. They're taking so long to make this one happen. They've relied on the flank from Steve-O, excuse me. Does it work out? Steve-O does get the kill despite the call coming in from Wardy. The kills still in favor of Ultra. Oh, they're going to breathe that sigh of relief. They've managed to get War off the point. Still, though, 60 seconds on the clock here. A slight, an ever so slight advantage in favor of War.
You feel that Denza route that he likes to take in through the window would be huge right about now. You can see him starting to make that flank. Does Weeman spot him and catch him out? You feel if Denza slips on through and makes that jump in again, breaks this hold for War, they can flood in through station and really upset things. And here he is.
Ends up, he gets the kills, and there it is. This should be a stack now coming through from Ultra. Can Beans play on out, though? He needs to get inside the point to take out Wardy. The call surely be made that somebody's in on that left side. Wardy does fall. Harry falls as well. And now 4v4 we go. It's time for an S&DS situation. 30 seconds on the clock. And, 30 seconds in Call of Duty terms is an eternity. It's a lot of time to work with, but War will soon run out of that. And they're playing this one cautious, trying to get any Ultra players that might get overzealous. That hasn't happened. Ultra standing strong on the point. Beans is going to make the call that somebody's made their way in down low. Wants to make the pick, but no, he gets shut down. Now 1 life in favor of Team War. You got to imagine they're going to go for the hit sooner rather than later. And Weeman going to try and hold through. Now it is just Weeman, a 1 versus 3 to save this control. They're on the point. You get shut down. And Team War are getting the broomstick out the closet. It's time for the reverse sweep here in the control.
Oh, this is where we start ultimate reverse sweep, the perfect reverse sweep kind of conversations. 2-0 up. We're Toronto Ultra on the very precipice of seeing this one out. War bring it all back. Looking as comfortable on the offense towards the end there as Ultra did on the start. Wardy made a huge play. Didn't actually get the kill onto Weeman, but checked back instead of continuing to hit that wrap. And the thing is, the Toronto Ultra panning around, looking for different areas that players could be coming from. They all came from the front. They won the gunfights. We move over to the Invincibles against the Wobabobs. Invincibles went up 2-0 in this one, and it was a convincing hardpoint win last time out. This time, though, different story. Wobabobs win the control and are up in our bow cage.
They're looking for the reverse sweep of their own. Again, we did describe the situation at play here, which is it would be very odd for a Wobblebobs to win versus Toronto and then to subsequently lose to Invincibles, especially considering Invincibles had lost that prior matchup to Katana Gaming. So it would certainly put a spanner in the works for the overall storylines here for Invincibles to win this series. But nonetheless, 2-1 up in this one. The Wobblebobs with a slight advantage in this game, or rather a large one when it comes to Bacage hardpoints, and now they're looking to enlarge it even further as well. They're on the point. There's still a wealth of time to get off the back of Grandma's, and the gunfights are going their way too. Niall has found his way in the point, and he's wasted well enough time for the rest of the Invincibles roster to make their way in through.
And a lot of gunfights. One that's 4 dead, and you're spawning in the back. If you are Wobabobs here, Invincibles will be happy with that. It's not though going to reward them too much. Jack's getting the kill on Grad, allowing his team to escape. As important kills, you've got to hope to continue to pin a Wobabobs back. If you are the Invincibles here, start to chain a couple of these hills together, because from Grandma's we move on over to Barn, but that's 3 dead, and Wobabobs will get out and contest.
Wobblebobs here. They don't have the rotation over towards Barn, but we always know kind of how scrappy this is. So far, this game has been a massive victory for this Wobblebobs team, but it's about closing things out. And to be fair, an indirect approach to this hardpoint means that the Wobblebobs not going to break in just yet. Finally, though, they're going to be able to find their way in. Only for a moment, though, as Niall and Nelson combine for 2. Gradding haven't adding another one towards the stack here, and Invincible actually holding a ton of time off the back of this barn kill. This is really abnormal as the Wobblebobs now going to flip the spawns out. They're going to be spawning in the back.
And it feels like for Wobblebobs at the minute, they're not really sure how to approach this. They've got players on flanks and then players at the front, but eventually you do see that swarm come in. A couple of kills, and this scrap time will trickle Wobblebobs over the 200-point marker. Obviously, you got to think next, though, we are going to the river. That can be the one money hill that this map really does possess. And Invincibles committed a lot of resources there, but you know what that means, Brody? Water wheel is open, and Wobblebobs are trying to slip through it.
Big hardpoint here for Invincibles to hold on. It's one where they could find their way back in towards this one, but they can lose the open engagements over towards the water wheel site. Wobblebobs, they have a path back and towards the hard point, and they might well have found it there. There you go, Invincibles, they're broken out, and it only takes about 15 seconds or so. It's go time. If you're Invincibles at the moment, you cannot afford to give this time away, and perhaps Raffi is the playmaker. Brezzy and Cobra have already got the kills, so Raffi needs to go big, and he can only pick up one.
Another gunfight, one out of a boozer. Two huge ones. You feel the grenade will finally clean him up. But as the hill lays vacant, it's not a good sign either for the Invincibles, because they have a long way to go in this one. Well and truly under the thumb right now, and just being bullied back bit by bit. You can see a Wobblebobs, they're happy to leave it open if need be. This can go to time if they want. With that nearly 80-point lead, it's commanding. And the gunfights are never clean right now. All the Wobblebobs.
They only need 18 seconds, and Bacage is a very punishing map when a scoreline like this presents itself. It's highly unlikely that Invincibles will be able to find their way back in, but you know what? You know what we say? Stranger things than that. Invincibles still might be able to get it done. At the very least, they're going to remove the Wobblebobs. Now they only need 10 seconds, though. They've closed the gap between themselves and victory, and again, number 5, even significantly more. But Invincibles will be in, and they're on the right side of the map too here, Andy.
They are all 4 dead for a Wobblebobs. Means that Invincibles managed to push on through just enough to give that flip spawn out. The problem is that Wobblebobs cannot... Sorry, Wobblebobs can still win this here. So Invincibles can't afford to rotate away. They have to come back at it again. That's 3 dead.
Yeah, there you go. That should be it. Grad gonna fall. Wobblebobs send us towards a game number 5 here between these two teams. And goodness me, not exactly gone, I think, how Invincibles planned. And we should say, by the way, again, you know, we didn't get a chance to really look at the control beyond. I think we saw the end of it where it was 3-0, and of course we just got to see the end of this one. And I think you'd agree that I think it was a Wobblebobs. We were told I think they were 5-0 or 5-1 up in the search and destroy. So theoretically speaking, this series should be done right now, and it should be in a Wobblebobs victory. So you know, I think for them, they're going to be gutted that they lost that search and destroy map, but to game number 5 they go, and we'll be keeping tabs on that one. But back to our main focus matchup here, War and Ultra Academy EU. We've got game number 4 upcoming after what was a brilliant comeback from Team War on the control.
Yeah, absolutely. It looked basically done and dusted. It felt done and dusted as well, really. War looked flat. They looked kind of defeated. Ultra came out swinging, and you think a lot of it as well, coming off the back of that really dominant opener offensive round. But look at those statistics. Harry drops a 40 bomb. Maple 35, Denzer 33, and Denzer as well. How many times did we see him hit those flanks? How many times did we see him make that jump in through the window and just disrupt the Ultra Academy defensive holds time and time and time again? Huge out of him. Beans dropping 5k damage, by the way. Busy game for him, but not enough in the end.
Yeah, I look at the stat lines, right? And of course, Harry went off. Of course, the new addition to the War lineup. But again, I don't even think the stat lines really tell the whole story, because you're absolutely right to call out Denzer's flanks, man. I feel like we should have like a hardcore parkour montage of him just going up there, picking up those kills from the back line. Ultra Academy very rarely were able to stop those flanks from happening, and it wasn't just Denzer on the flank as well. By the way, you know, War was sending a multitude of players on those flanks for the last 3 rounds. But another point I did want to make about that control, and we were talking about it at the end of round number 4, I think it was, going into round number 5. I feel like Ultra were maybe giving up the B zone too easily. You know, I think it is very integral that you don't want to allow that B to A swing to happen, and you more often than not do want to set yourselves up to try and spawn trap War, because when it works, it will work very well. It would be a tough position to War to break out from. But you know, I just think the gamble didn't pay off at the end of the day, and maybe you have to consider the fact that Ultra Academy might have had more success there in those rounds if they were actually to be a little heavier trying to stop B from being captured in the first place.
Yeah, and I understand why in the round 5 they played that more cautious approach on defense, keeping more of those numbers at the preferred defensive site, we'll call it. But I felt like in the one before, in the defensive round before, they really could have sent more to Mail, really tried to contest that for a bit longer. You were right. They essentially just left one player alone to just sit on that point, never really troubled that person. And yeah, I think for me, you've made it then a bit too easy for War to focus their efforts to one singular point and not worry too much about the rest of the map. You needed to see a couple more flanks come in from Ultra, something perhaps down your dock side, rapid through the back of Mail. Because if you can get control over that Mail building, don't get me wrong, again, you don't want to overinvest and then risk the team transitioning over to A. But if you can get a player in and around that dock side, coming off a spawn can then be a nightmare for the offensive team.
Yeah, yeah. I'll say what I always say with these positions when we're kind of handing out criticisms to teams, which is at the end of the day, we are mere
Hindsight.
casters. Yeah,
Hindsight is
yeah. A,
beautiful.
hindsight, and B, obviously these guys they do know what they're doing. They're at
Yeah, of
this level of
course.
Call of Duty for a reason. So, again, you have to imagine it was just a gamble. It didn't work out for Toronto. So,
Yeah.
nonetheless, it's still going to be a gut punch, I think, to be reverse swept in that manner. Now, though, map number 4 is going to be up next. It's going to be Berlin Hardpoint. We can take a look at the stat lines for this one, and woo, another one that, technically speaking, should favor Toronto. 5-0 last season on this. They got a handle on Berlin Hardpoint. They became the new kings of this map. If you remember, like season 1, it was like Rocker Academy that like could not be challenged here. But yeah, 5-0 for Toronto. That is a good looking scoreline for season 3.
It is, but we said the same thing about the control. So I don't know where to lean on this one. War builds themselves in. You see Denza starting to get some real promise on those flanks. The one thing for me as well in that control is you didn't see a typical Wardy stat line, which was a big pop off. He was negative considerably. You don't see that very often. So if he ups his game back to the regular sort of slaying pattern that he has, maybe War really do have something to build into here. But you are right. Ultra 5-0 on Berlin. That is a considerable hold on that map that they have. And I was just checking. They did actually beat War here last time out as well, 250 to 152, which is a solid victory by all accounts.
Yeah, I was actually going to say, I do actually just recall looking at what the score lines were for Ultra Academy as they have a really good start here. And I think pretty much all of them were not close. I think if I recall, and this is me digging deep into the memory banks, they were the closest match they had was like 250 to 210 on this map mode combination. Pretty much all of them were like the one that you just presented. All of them about 150 points or so given away to their opposition. So that bodes extremely well. But again, there is always that factor we have to discuss, which is just how much of a difference is Weeman going to make to that for Ultra Academy, and just how much of a difference is Harry going to make to Team War here on the opposing side. Well, so far for Team War, they're looking to get some time off the back of the scraps, but at the very least, they do have the rotation in hand.
They do. They're going to get themselves set up for it. And Denza here actually maybe thinking a hop, skip, and a jump ahead as well, because obviously from 2, you then start to consider that lobby hill. And Denza wants fire control as well to lock down this mid-map and force Ultra the long way around. Weeman here spots Harry, gets the kill. So they do now able to get themselves in, or Ultra Academy. They're going to be sniffing around the point, looking for a way in, and Furious gets the first.
And Ultra back on through now. And I was going to say this is one of those positions where maybe for Team War, it's a bit of a nerve-wracking one, because if they're spawning over towards the dock side, well, they might be in a world of pain. But they're actually not in that position. So they're totally fine at the moment, even if they give away the scrap time. But they're still going to go for it here as Harry looks to make his way through. Unfortunately, that barrage of engagements will not go their way. And now where do they spawn? The attempt for the scrap time actually ends up working against them.
Yep, complete overinvestment. Beans reads the fact that several kills come in, immediately sprints towards the lobby side and gives his team the spawn. The setup will be there. It's already a 40-point lead for the Academy. Boy, got to be careful here. Really, we saw this as well in the first hard point. War sometimes were a little bit too keen to come and contest the scrap. They needed to think perhaps a step ahead, especially when Money Hills are up next.
This is a very important moment in the game, by the way. This game is slowly starting to feel out of reach for War very early on. We are only in hardpoint number 3, and you're already seeing the difference. The gap between these teams grow exponentially. Ultra Academy look to hold on. A little picture-in-picture look over towards Invincibles and a Wobbobobs in game number 5. Of course, I probably should give you guys the update, by the way, that AIM Esports have 3-0 Dizzy's Rascals, so we won't be popping into that one. We would pop into that game number 5 after this one is done, though. So we'll keep you guys updated with how that goes, currently 1-1. But, as I was saying, while we were talking about that Wobbobobs and Invincibles matchup, Ultra haven't given anything away to Team War, and this is a nightmare scenario for the War side.
Yeah, not a damn thing. They're getting punished so heavily for that misjudgment at the back end of that P2, wanting to continue to contest the scrap, whilst Ultra just were happy to gobble them up in the mid-map and catch them unawares, get themselves in. And we are now over to 4. Furious gets that kill, and it's going to be Harry up by himself. He will get 1. He is traded, though. Ultra with a chance here to lock this down, but red in the feed.
Ultra Academy Now in the right side of the map here, they're getting the kills as well. That's the gutting thing, isn't it, for Team War is, you know, they've been unearthed from the hard point, and now they're not even earning any time from it whatsoever. Ultra Academy continue to spawn in the backline. Andy, what is happening right now?
A clinic is being put on. That's what's happening. Ultra just happy to rotate in early and set themselves up. And as opposed to our previous hard point where we saw a couple of breaks come on through, this time they're very, very comfortable. The thing is, P3, you can forgive War for not managing to break in through the front. It's a difficult hill. 4, usually you get quite a bit more of a mix, and Ultra now way over 100 points clear. And Furious here just sniffing around as we go to P5. And B, a very scrappy hill. You need the gunfights to start going your way, and War have been struggling in that front so far.
Yeah, and again, you know, you lose control over P3. And, well, now we move over towards the rotation, or P4, excuse me, and we move over towards the rotation for Broken for P5. And you expect, you know, with the positioning they had over Ultra Academy, he was spawning over towards the back line of the boathouse, that they would hold on for the first few seconds, but they lose a couple of gunfights, and now they don't have control once again. And that is the story of how this game has gone entirely. And you're going to have to excuse us if we're coloring too much here, if we're not providing you guys enough play-by-play of the action. But really, at this point, it just feels like Ultra Academy they have settled themselves well into this game.
Yeah, if anything, several times now I've seen the hill, they'll just leave it left open. They're very happy to just leave it and not go anywhere near it for large periods. Really don't seem too stressed right now about this game. Clearly feel comfortable here, and you can see why they were 5-0 last series out. Denza, by the way, 5-14. You never see that kind of stat line out of him. This has been a one-way show. He won, though. War do have some presence, but again, not winning the gunfights, Brody.
It feels disastrous, doesn't it? I mean, like, this is the thing. A native lead that you have, right, in any given game, if you lose a full 60, a full 50 off the back of the hardpoint, don't worry about it, because you can just win the rotation over the next one, right? And that has just not happened consecutively for War. Hardpoint after hardpoint, you need to get something going right about now, but even at this point, it feels too late, doesn't it? I don't mean to be defeatist, but look at the scoreline. This is possibly one of the most commanding hardpoints I think we've had all season, all year.
Yeah, I do worry sometimes that I get a little bit too critical, a little bit too negative about players playing at the very top end of Call of Duty challengers. But this is borderline embarrassing at this point. War really, really are in danger here of being 50-point clubbed, let alone 100-point clubbed. They've got to start to put something together here. The problem is that it feels flat from them, right? It doesn't feel like they're here to contest this right now. Not something you would expect out of this lineup of players at all. Ultra just going to bide their time, and that grenade, who put the wall in his way?
Yeah, look, there's a silver lining in this, and that's apparently that Steve wasn't able to throw an aid into the hard point. He's unable to do that, apparently, so it's all good. And War, to be fair to them, have actually got a solid amount of time off the back of this hill. So there is potentially a path back into this one, but it is about chaining both this hard point and the next one back together. That has not happened. Ultra Academy able to wipe once again. And this is that nightmare scenario that we were talking about previously when it comes to the rotation from mailroom to lobby. You do not want to be spawning where War are right now. And even worse, Ultra are wiping them out. You can see Beans repositioning. And yeah, I think this is one of those times where it's actually valid to just put the extra bullets into the body.
I mean, yeah, Beans fully deserves to give that one. By the way, the rotation in for 3, deja vu time. Ultra here again. Team War over investing at 2, probably because they had to, because they're going to lose otherwise. Wow, this has been a map. This has been a statement out of Ultra. I mean, it's not been their day, losing both series prior to this. War saw out a clinical one. It looked to be going a complete different way to the way it's panned out. Ultra Academy, 100-point club, Team War in your Berlin hardpoint and take the series.
Righty, well, that's a statement, especially after what happened in the control, right? You got to imagine their heads will be down after that, but well done to Ultra Academy. You know, they win the battle versus Team War, and, you know, I think for WeeMan specifically, that's going to be a sigh of relief that the right decision was made to dip out of that team and make your way to Ultra, but no doubt that'll not be the last time we see that duel between those two rosters. Regardless, though, in towards Invincibles and Wobblebobs for the game number 5, and, well, the latter currently 3-2 up. Rezzy, though, wants to close out round number 6 in their favor. Just 20 seconds left here. They're still going to get the bomb down, but they don't even need to do that, to be fair. Abuse that takes down the player on the flank.
And catch on the flank you feel is important. Potential there to just flip the script a little bit. But numbers game, numbers advantage. Play it out. Simple math, Brody. Nice indeed plays out. It's a 2-round lead now for a Wobbabobs, and very much so on the edge of a reverse sweep. And I worry about the kind of effect that that would have on the Invincibles. Has been a disappointing campaign so far, especially after their fantastic Toronto Open performance.
Well, 4-2 now. Wobbabobs putting some distance between themselves and Invincibles. Invincibles on the offense, though. They want to get the bomb down on towards B. They can technically do that now. They went after Scarpa. Look at this fast reaction coming out from Wobbabobs. Looking to catch Grad on potential rotation towards the boathouse. That hasn't happened, though. He's sticking inside the site, and to be fair, you can't exactly blame him. Nile going to get Chaxter as well. 2v4 now for a Wobbabobs, and it gets even worse as Abuser will fall. Cobra, 1v4. Have fun with this one.
Cobra, by the way, very impressive in that last hard point. The stat line will lean towards Abuser getting a lot of the credit, but he hit a lot of very important flanks, very important multi-kills to break through hills. Had himself a fantastic map. An interesting setup there from Invincibles, by the way. They get that quick plant down, and typically you see a player stood top warehouses or looking out from one of those shiny wood windows. No one up there this time. We obviously don't have the mini map, so I couldn't fully make out where players were. But as far as I could tell, they had players all low out in your street area. No one sat top warehouses.
Alrighty, well, the Wobbabob's now up here. Still. Invincibles able to get that third round on the board. And nice set nades coming out from Nolson. A huge defensive play, because you could see a Wobbabobs there. They were actually angling for that B kit. They don't get it.
Bot trying to cross, but actually the bomb is over at A. Chaxter, B might have just been a lot of noise. Just to rotate this Invincible side over and hopefully get a plant. Chaxter doing the sneaky across the map. I think he's crouch walked like 90% of this. And it doesn't need to, because Abu's is just going to get everything last alive, and they'll be aware of where he is now.
Yeah, Nolson started this round strong, and it really felt like Invincible started the round strong as well, the first blood, but this has been flipped on its head, hasn't it? A Wobbabobs with the numbers, with the bomb down. Nolson trying to make his way through lobby. Actually might catch Abuser off guard and does so, but now the location has been revealed. From Nolson, we're not going to see that immediate reaction actually coming out from Chaxter. I like the play. Standing steady. Chaxter hasn't moved. He's not nervous about it. For Nolson, can he spot him? Looking every single corner feasible at the moment. And has he actually just covered at the complete wrong time? Chaxter's relocated elsewhere. Nolson just going to wait for the longest time possible. Chaxter now to check the bomb. And Chaxter wins the 1v1 to boot. How about that for a little add-on towards the end?
Absolutely snaps there. I think Nolson maybe gave himself away when he smashed himself in through the sneaky door. I think Chax hears that, repositions accordingly, and picks the perfect time to swing back around and clean up the bomb. You're right, though. Very resolute out of Chax. That kill comes in on Abuser. He doesn't move. He assesses the situation. Reacts very, very well. Invincibles need to win the next 3 rounds, or the reverse sweep is indeed complete.
It is. Invincibles. We're going to get the bomb down over at B. This is where they were successful last time around. And this time, once again, Grad will cross it even better. Raffi draws that bud. But I'm curious about the reaction from Chaxter. He's getting highly aggressive in towards Mailroom. And this is not the best place for Invincibles to find themselves. They do not get that bomb down.
And the Wobbabobs are fully aware of where it is as well. Look at them, they're just hunkered down and waiting. You have presence in the middle from Chaxter. He's just going to dive in through Mail, squeeze Nolson's last remaining life. And Raffi, no 1v3.
He's got the positioning, but doesn't get that kill against Cobra. And now you can really feel like the full might of Abuser will be upon him. Wobbabobs with the reverse sweep. And how about that? The surprise of Season 4. 4-0 victories against Invincibles, a victory against Toronto Ultra Academy EU. That day 2 for them has been sublime.
Oh yeah, without a shadow of a doubt. I feel like they come away from their day 1 with victories they would have expected, right? That they would have put on themselves as like, we need to win these in order to be in contention for playoffs, that being against Katana and your Dizzy's Rascals. But to come out and smoke Toronto, that is a statement of their ambition. And then Invincibles, this is one of those games where, I mean, we've seen Invincibles upset teams. We've seen plenty of teams upset others throughout elite stages. These can be the games where, there's plenty of quality still in these sides.
Yeah.
Bob's put well and truly back up against a wall just to see it out. Sign of a very strong team.
Yeah, indeed. Did Invincibles lose to Katana early on? That did happen, didn't it? I'm not
No,
imagining that. It was a
oh
Katana
wait,
victory.
yeah,
It
yeah, yeah,
was. Yeah,
yeah,
because Footsy came in the chat was like, "You guys are surprised?" Yeah, we were surprised. I'll tell you what,
yeah.
Invincibles now. We do not read chat generally, but that one was on Andy. Regardless, yeah,
There's a break.
Invincibles. It's fair. I'll let you off. Invincibles losing 2 series today, like 2 big matches as well. When we talk about them,
Yeah.
again, we've discussed them contextually speaking. Again, being on the cusp of making it into the top four. They've been a top six team, I think, since bringing Nelson onto the lineup. And I think now, I mean, there's just a lot of questions, right? About, what does the future of season 4 look like for them? Because they're 1-3 now, I want to say. Again, we don't actually have the live standings up, so I can't exactly
Yeah.
say, but yeah, like their running as well, I think is horrendous. Like, I think they I want to say they play AIM, War, and Rocker for the final 3 matches.
Aim War and Toronto, so not
In
much
War.
better. Not much better. Yeah, very, very difficult. They
Oh
picked up
boy.
that 3 over Dizzy's Rascals, but other than
Yeah.
that, it's just not been good. And this one will be the gut puncher. This will be the kick in the teeth. I mean, yeah, they lose to Katana, and that is disappointing. Sometimes these teams come on, it's their first series. Sometimes you do get those trap games where you perhaps go into it a little bit lax and you get caught with your pants
Yeah.
down a bit. But to go up 2-0 against the Bobs, that's an opportunity to get yourself back into the conversation. I like this
Yeah.
side. But that is a run in for sure.
And, I laugh, but if only because of how silly that run-in is. Like, it's probably one of the worst run-ins that you could possibly get for any team. So that is really like I feel kind of sorry for Invincibles that they have to do that. But you know what? Look, they've got to live up to their name. They've got to be invincible in those last 3 matches. It's going to be a tough one for sure. But we can never quite count out a team of that caliber. They are all very good players. But I mean, we've got to talk about it. Wobble Bobs. This team, I mean, look, I don't even mean to be mean because we are surprised, aren't we? It is a pleasant surprise to see this roster, even though you look at the players on the team and you know that these guys are capable of something special. I think even then, you do not expect this to be the roster to come out and shock everybody like this. And the season isn't over, but you know what? I mean, this team, it is something special indeed.
Yeah, they need to not get lost in the noise. They need to make sure that they keep
Yeah.
their heads down and keep doing what's been working for them. But I think the encouraging signs as well for them is you've got players in there like Chaxter and Brezzy who have elite wins in the past, who have got, long, solid resumes at this point. But I genuinely think that Cobra and Abuza are more than holding their own weight in this side. I spoke about how Cobra looked throughout that hard point, making big important plays at big important times. If you've got, your other players, your players that you've perhaps pulled into the core of the roster, they're chipping in with those sort of performances. No reason why they can't go on and do some serious damage. You're right, though. We are still a ways to go. We're still in group stages. Till week 1.
Yeah, I will say as well, I was trying to think of the name of the roster. I actually just brought it up, and I probably shouldn't in the position that we are, being Call of Duty Challengers casters, of course. I forgot the name of Amelia Strays. Like, this feels very
Ah,
reminiscent
yes,
of what
yes.
Amelia Strays did last season. Like, if you remember, like they came out of nowhere. I think it was season 4, I want to say. Obviously, the context is a little bit different considering we have a 5th season back then. But nonetheless, it does feel very much like that again, where we have this team that forms towards the end of the season, and you know they're a threat. They're kind of ruining the status quo for a lot of these top 4 teams. Um, I know I'm kind of elongating our exit here, Andy, so I do apologize for keeping you for a little bit longer. But
All good.
the other thing we need to talk about here, of course, is that matchup between Team War and Ultra. I feel like if Daniel, our producer, was to bring us to faces, bring us to cams before we went into that game number 5, I would have been like, really? Like, that was a hard point. Like, Toronto, what a way to answer back from the control.
Yeah, I mean, like sometimes, we want to analyze things, break things down, but if you're not winning gunfights, it doesn't matter. Like, I think at one point Denzel was like 5-17. Like, when do you see that from him? Like, he's a ridiculously top end talent. Toronto just came out and steamrolled that one. It all goes back really to that poor rotation between P2 and 3. And I feel like from that point on, war just felt flat. It was almost as if they were fully aware of the mistake that they made, and that they'd thrown away a lot there. They then don't break it at all, and from there it steamrolls completely. But it was a weird way for it to end. I mean, Jesus, it ends 7-20. That's difficult to look at. That's difficult to read.
Yeah, like the thing is, you talk about the rotation again. I think it was absolutely a crucial moment early on because we talk about Berlin hardpoints and how. To be fair, I always specify with the map, but I think it's just hardpoints generally on Vanguard where they are super punishing and it's tough to make comebacks happen. Perhaps tougher than it has been in previous years. And you know, with those kind of rotations though on Berlin control, you know, to hit it with 30 seconds left is like. All right, look. I mean, it's the right call if you win it, but if you lose it, it's catastrophic. And it was just, you know, it's one of those slim chance situations where not only do they lose the majority of those gunfights, they lose every single one. And of course, then Ultra are going to capitalize on that and flip the map. So, yeah, that was a really important moment in the game, but it was just a spiral from there on out. And yeah, Ultra Academy, what a way to bounce back. I think the one positive you take away from that series, though, is that War were able to win the control in the fashion that they did. And, you know, they clearly do have the ice this roster. It's just about
Yeah.
making sure that it doesn't melt when it comes to the following hard point. Regardless, though, that's going to be it for us. So we're finally done. I shall keep you here for the analysis no longer. Don't worry, Andy. I will say, Andy, it's been pleasant casting with you again, mate. We haven't done it for a while. You know, we've been sitting there playing rank play together. You've been carrying me, and you know, we haven't had a cast together for us. It's been a fun time.
I don't know about the carrying and ranked, but I will indeed say that it's been a grand time to cast with you again, my friend. When I saw that we were on, I thought, oh, it's time to get on a summary shirt. It's going to be real good. Now, it's been an absolute pleasure. And of course, always a pleasure to cast over some of Europe's greatest talents. I hope to do it again soon. And yeah, I mean, we got some time for some ranked after this or sometime soon.
Yeah,
I'm looking forward to it.
we can do that. We can do that. I'm
Absolutely.
down. Regardless, you guys don't want to go and play some rank because soon enough we'll have some more Call of Duty for you guys, not just on this channel, of course, but also at youtube.com/COD challengers as well. Sean and Ellen are still taking the reins for those matches, of course, as we switch regions from Europe to North America. It's time to see what the land of the free has to offer for everybody at home. And you guys can see that very soon as well. I believe it starts in about an hour or so, unless like my brain is completely fried. I want to say like 11:30 BST is when that should start. So again, make sure you guys return to the channel for that one. I believe it's going to be McCormill and Proper taking you guys through all the action here at Clutch GG. But for the Europe broadcaster week number one, we're done and dusted. Tune in once again next week for more European action. As trust me, I'm sure there'll be no shortness of surprises.